Group that back up, man.
You said what, bro?
Nah, get a sax song. Put some more sax on that, man.
Put some more sax. Can y'all hear that?
Here we go.
Can y'all hear that?
What up? What up? What up?
If you can hear that, you know it's time to start. So,
welcome.
How y'all doing today? Dust my mic off.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. We've been a while since we've convened and shared our thoughts and opinions on things.
Yeah, I was down bad last week after that Joe Biden booster. So.
Got your Fauci ouchie?
Yeah, I got my Fauci ouchie, doggos.
Congrats, brother.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Vaxton. Well, I ain't waxed, but Vaxton. Ready to break bikes club, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing your contributions for the greater good, public safety and health.
Yep.
Or for those who chose not to get the vax, whatever. It's your body, your choice, right?
Yeah.
Just don't talk on me.
Yeah, I can't understand guys like Kyrie though. I don't know. I can never. I don't know him personally, but just looking on the outside in, I just don't understand a lot of his logic.
Can you play basketball?
No.
Well, I'm saying, see, we can end that right
there. I'm saying if somebody, like, if I stand to lose $30 million, like, to get vax, I'm not. What? Like,
I think Kyrie made it clear a couple of years back. It's not about the money for him, if I recall.
I think Kyrie's been in the league long enough where money really don't sway.
Now, when he got on his whole humanitarian kick, like really giving back and doing stuff, like I think that's kind of where he kind of got on this, like in his activism and all that. Like it ain't about the money, I don't think. I mean, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, but like
which players have that control now. Like they can do that. Like they're not just getting in line and doing as told. Like if to hell with y'all. If I don't want to play, I'm not playing. Now what y'all gonna do to sell tickets?
Get somebody else. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, from where?
They switch people. I mean, new rookies come in every year, bro. People dying to get in the league. Fool. Give me 30 minutes, bro. I put up 10 points. I don't care. What I gotta do. If I gotta foul everybody in the league, get my 10 points. Don't give my 10. Put me in the league, dog. 30 million, bro.
Go ahead, bro. Shoot your shots. I ain't mad at it.
I'm shooting from half court.
For our listeners out there, this is not a sports podcast. That's just my speculating ass opinion. But yeah, let me introduce myself. It's your man's Free Will, aka Murphy's Law 615.
I am Banks himself, aka the guy with the Joe Biden booster, aka the guy who got his Fauci ouchie, aka the dude in the camo hoodie.
You got enough AKs on there, bro?
Nah, man, look, I got some more. I come off the hip.
Let Carl do his thing, man.
Hey, I got some more, dog.
Nah, and I'm Carl Tomlinson, aka just Chaos Black today. For now, but that may change by the end of the show.
AKA the Lone Jedi.
Yes, the Lone Jedi. Yeah.
Speaking of, boo to that. But speaking of, Star Wars Visions hit Disney Plus.
Yeah, I have to find another means to watch it. Somebody, let me get that Disney Plus login. I ain't got Disney Plus, but
not very Sith of you, brother. I gotta be real.
Hey, I got
questioning your loyalty to the dark side right now.
Sith. I'm snatching it up.
I was going to say, like,
questioning
watching it for the 5-finger discount is very Sith-like.
Yeah, bro. I'm about to watch it on the
says who
drive-in movie theater.
No, says who? Like, what? Y'all not finna just assign that ghetto ass behavior to Sith lords out here, bro? Like, it's kind of like niggas can't afford. We can't afford.
That's the thing. I can afford it. I just don't feel like paying for it. So I'm
bro, you could use a trick like before we just pop in a discount. Like that's give me come on, bro. Nah, we ain't petty and broke. Sith lords, man.
I'm forced logging in. You see me use my force hand? I'm force.
It'd be some Jedi BS to try to mind trick somebody into using their login or guilt trip somebody and they're giving it to them for free because they can't earn nothing. They can't work for it. Jedi's are complacent, never doing shit until it's too late. That's why our whole school got murdered.
Give me your login before I electrocute your ass. Like Palpatine.
I got some pent up animosity towards Jedi's, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Here we go again.
Give me your login. Carl, give me your login.
A lot of things are happening with Star Wars, bro.
Oh man.
We also got that Knights of the Old Republic reboot that is well underway.
Yeah.
Or remake.
How about that?
Did y'all get a chance to?
Have any of y'all ever played like the online Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars game? Like where you can
Dog, it's been a while.
Yeah, bro. Me and my boy.
I don't think so.
Heavily. PvP.
I haven't seen anybody play that game at least since College Grove days.
Yeah, it was like 2010 when I was 2010 or 11. One of them.
About 08, 09 for me. Last time I saw anybody playing that game.
We was on it.
Any of y'all get a chance to watch through Star Wars Visions?
No. I've been watching other stuff this week, but I'm planning on watching it.
Well, I went through that. That was some good. At first, I thought it was going to be, without spoilers. Thought it would be other random one-off tales in the galaxy, not centered around the never-ending conflict between the Empire and the Republic. But that was just like maybe one episode, Tatooine Rhapsody. It's very much centered around the conflict of the Empire and the Republic, and a lot of Jedi versus Sith, actually. Truth be told, I like that it was much more than what we thought, just the anime. It's actually like a whole creative, I guess, rooted in Japan team on each episode. I watched each one in Japanese with subtitles just to kind of give it that feel. The first episode is very much an homage to traditional samurai classic films, the black and white Ronin idea, but it's dope. It's a dope take on some of the expanded Star Wars universe. I highly recommend giving it a watch if you're a fan of anime and you're a fan of Star Wars. We've got some of the more creative lightsabers and lightsaber fights that I've seen ever. So I got to give a lot of props to that.
Yeah, I won't. Well, this is just from my seeing. I wasn't really feeling the umbrella lightsaber.
No, the Mary Poppins saber. No, bro, that shit it's hard, bro. Trust me, it's a 2-part weapon though. Like she can do some stuff where it's not just that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? It's like can I spoil that?
No, I'm still gonna watch it. So
I don't see that as a spoiler at all.
So it's not just the weapon itself, it's a sword, but it's a splicer. So she puts the crystal and it splits into that, and she can use it as a shield if she wants, and she gets her Mary Poppins on floating around and shit, dropping in the battle. But when she pulls it out of that splicer, it's just one long ass sword, one lightsaber, and she's quite talented.
I'll say this. I don't think this is spoiling, but where would you rank it among like Star Wars animated things that have come out?
That's the only one I've ever watched, so I don't have a ranking for it.
Okay.
But worth a watch if y'all want to check that out, though. What else is new?
King Spawn came out with a new comic.
Issue number 2. Yes.
Very dope cover. Giving Spawn his crown on the cover. So.
There was an incentive for that I was on the hunt for. I did not catch. I'm still on the hunt for that. I think Greg Capullo did another pencil sketch cover.
You trying to get an alternate cover?
No, the variant incentive covers, because Spawn's been on a tear with just the exclusiveness. With McFarlane, I think with King Spawn issue number 1, he only did 250 covers. McFarlane signed incentives, and he's never going to sign another copy of that. Like, that's his pledge.
Oh, okay.
I got the 1 out of 50. I got 1 out of 50 of the Greg Capullo incentive pencil sketch covers. But just stuff like that, the rarity, because those are books, if you get them and you send them to CGC, they're probably going to be graded fairly high. You could, if you're into collecting and trading, sure. sell them. If you're into collecting more so, can't put a price on stuff like that, your call. But I've been dipping into the Virgin variant cover collecting for like recently, just on a tear with it, starting with, I think, Spider-Man issue 800 to a Carnage Codex variant to, I've gotten all three Dark Blood Virgin variants. The Porcelain Virgin variants, I've been collecting King Spawn for a minute, any Spawn Virgin variants or variants in general, but I've been on a tear with that, bro. I picked up the Arkham City issue number 1 Virgin variant today. Looking forward to reading that story.
Yeah.
Arkham City. I'm not big.
No clue what it's about. Just saw it and was captivated. So I was like, all right, 1 to 6, let's go.
Yeah. Had a lot of new upcoming animes. There's some popular animes either dropping this month or about to drop already.
Are we getting season 2 of Demon Slayer?
Yes, we are. Looking forward to that. The My Hero Academia movie 3 is dropping this month.
I haven't seen the first 2.
Man, you gotta check it out, man. They are a fun. Well, I say the second one's more of a fun watch, but like they're.
I mean, I didn't know that they had movies already. I've been following the TV shows.
If one thing about anime, they gonna have the movies too. That's how they knock out some of that filler stuff. Not filler, but some of those answer some of those questions without putting it in the show. They just make like an hour-long movie, or it's how they like introduce stuff and stuff like that. Like Naruto got so many damn movies.
I saw there's a Jujutsu Kaisen movie about to drop too.
Yeah.
Like that's, I guess, gonna fill some gaps in between season 2 coming out.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
That's what they made the Demon Slayer movies for, to fill out some of those questions that don't get answered in the show, or just like, some of that additional information.
Well, a lot of that, I guess, comes from the unexpected popularity. Like, sure, they were working on stuff, but when your show pops and takes off the way it has, like Demon Slayer has, it's like, okay, yeah, we gotta. As I understand it, we kind of caught up to the manga pretty quick, or no?
Yeah.
Usually, we got mangas are way ahead of by the time it starts. You know what I mean? So, and the same thing with Black Clover. We actually caught. I thought it was over. I was like, no, we just caught up to the manga. So they haven't even told the rest of the story. So we're actually in limbo, just kind of waiting, putting our thumb.
Man, I gotta admit, Black Clover, I'm surprised how much Black Clover keeps surprising me. Just when I think like, okay, this may be a dull period, they always like seem to take it to the next level.
Are you reading ahead?
I'm not much of a reader. I'm just talking about as the TV show, as the animation show goes on. I was just giving it its flowers, like as a good show. Like if I'm honest, I didn't expect it to be this good when I first started watching it. I mean, but I enjoy it.
Anything else before we move on to the evening's topics?
No, but I'm ready to talk about it because I got some strong feelings about our topics today.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Banks is ready. Banks came ready to box, huh?
Yeah, I'm finna knock this shit out the park.
All right. I feel like there's something we're missing. Something we're missing. Comic related. The Lot is finished. It's a horror comic.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really good. I was very surprised at how that went. Issue number 3, The Me You Love in the Dark. Something is Killing the Children, number 20. Picked up the Virgin variant of that. Hello. I've got a couple of those with Something is Killing the Children. I think those are sitting on some change. But there's something I'm trying to remember. Ordinary Gods. Y'all need to check this story out. We're about 3 issues in. This is a Boom Studios,
Boom.
I believe. No, Image, excuse me. God, I'm sorry. Forgive me. My bad. This is an Image comic. Kyle Higgins, he's also doing Radiant Black, which is another popular comic, but Ordinary Gods centers around some war just to give you a light summary, there were 13 guys, like a god for each, a god for intelligence, a god for love, a god for strength, a god for passion, a god for sorrow, regret, all these virtues, right? Or these feelings. And in their realm, there was a war. There was one king that ruled among all. There was a war. 5 decided to rebel because the people in their realm were being oppressed. And it's like, yo, if we're gods, we can do better. So they end up getting banished in this great war and trapped in Earth with stewards, who every time they begin to wake up, it's their job to kill them because they reset and reincarnate. Only this go round, all 5 gods are finally like all 4 managed to wake up and managed to survive, stay alive. So now they're trying to find the last one to awaken him and jump back to their realm. And I think it was stemming from our representation episode. The main character is, black dude, right? So I'm like, all right, giving this a ride. But surprisingly, like, I'm just enjoying the story. That and Eat the Rich. Those are 2 new comics that I'm reading. I'm just kind of like, okay, I could sit for this. And volume 2, Jet Grind Mix Up, is on the way. That's the most important thing I think that I almost let slip my mind. Tell us about that. What we look forward to with volume 2, Jet Grind, bro.
So, volume 2, Jet Grind Mix Up, is gonna be 21 pages back and forth. It's part 2 of episode 1 of Jet Grind Mix Up, so it's pretty much telling the story of what happens when our one of 2 main characters is going out to the city looking for answers since her father won't give them to her. So she goes out looking for him and gets in some trouble. So
looks like we're getting some villains introduced in this next issue.
I mean, you're getting one of them. Yeah, you're getting one of them.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm here for it. Y'all know me. I'm always a fan of the bad guy. I like to hold that the story is only as good as the villain, and that same goes for your hero. Which, speaking of, we'll have to come back to it. But my hero's doing some interesting things with with the villains. So I'm kind of curious as to what they're going to do with Deku in the game, because if the villains have leveled up to this level and they have leveled the F up, the heroes got to exceed beyond that. Like what all Might's always saying, go beyond. I wonder how they're going to tie that in and what new levels they're going to find for them to push. Because as it stands right now, if the villains, the Liberation, knew whatever they are, if they met the heroes, they washing them. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he is my man's with the decay. Yeah, he's rinsing the entire Hero Academy if they fought right now.
Well, I gotta to piggyback on what you just said. Shigaraki has definitely upped his game. Like, I mean,
keep wanting to call him Shigaraki. Thank you, Carl. Okay. Shigaraki.
But
I just call them by their names, like their hero villain names.
I don't think
we ever got his villain name, did we?
Yes, they just call him Shigaraki.
Yeah, like I don't recall his. It might be in an early episode. It might have been mentioned, early. But I have to go
all
back
their names are pretty much based off their powers. Like Todoroki was called Hot Cold, and
that's whack. Is that what his real name is? Hot Cold?
Nah, his hero name is Shoto.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that.
I'm pretty sure he used to call that man Hot Cold.
Bakugo used to call him Icy Hot.
Yeah, they used to call him a lot of stuff. So I used to call him Hot Cold from what I heard on the show until I got a grasp on his real name.
Okay.
At first, it was a lot. It was because they introduced 40 people on the first season.
Yeah.
That's a lot of names, dog.
Well, I'll say this. Shigaraki and Big Dude, I don't know his name, but the really big guy, they're a problem. I think a lot of the other villains, it'd be interesting to see who they match up with.
I mean, let me be fair in saying that the entire villain power up was a plot MacGuffin itself. What are the odds that all 6 of them in the same fight manage to just level up? Because apparently it's a thing that happens in the My Hero universe. Fighters, heroes and villains alike, people with quirks can have awakenings, which I'm not a manga reader, so this is all new to me. but this is a point in their power development or growth where seemingly if they've hit a ceiling, they can achieve a new level, unlock new abilities. So I guess they're kind of establishing a tier ranking in power levels, similar to what I'm gonna use the X-Men Alpha Omega level, ranking system to compare it to, but that's what it looks like we're getting to. Which we knew that was a thing with the heroes, but it's interesting how all 6 of like the entire League of Villains just levels up in the same fight. Like they were feeding off of each other, you know what I'm saying, or something. And the Redestro Shigaraki fight was hard, man. Like that was to see them clash like that, and I felt bad because I really felt like Redestro should have been able to do just a little bit more, but with Shigaraki's power unleashing the way it was, I mean, we saw him be able to decay things not even touching them, like just sending waves of decay out. Like that's lethal, bro. That's hard. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the whole season of that. So
it's gonna be litty. But that was a sidetrack.
Yeah. Sidetrack.
The first of tonight's topics. What we starting with? What if
No, let's do Venom. Let's go ahead and get it out.
Okay. Oh shit, this man feeling spicy. All right, Venom 2.
Venom 2, aka the worst fucking Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life, dude.
You did not like it.
No, this shit
was spoilers a fucking head.
No.
Yo, say it ain't so, man. Say it ain't so.
Bro, how could y'all do Venom like this? How could y'all do Carnage like that?
Tell me what you... there were 3 things I didn't like. But when I waited and, the end scene, cutscene was a big part of my final decision. When I think about the 3 things I didn't like, I'm like, yeah, I can, it doesn't make or break the movie for me. They weren't necessary AF, but I could tolerate. But what was your...
Bro, there was no redeeming qualities about this movie. There's nothing to like about this movie. Nothing about it was good, except the fact that Tom Hardy still played Venom. But nothing about this movie was good, bro. The story from beginning to end, how Venom got it, how Carnage got his powers, like all of it was basura. It was a heap of garbage. Like this movie sucked. In the middle of the movie, I felt like walking out.
It didn't strike a single chord for you, huh?
This movie was fucking terrible. I slick wanted to get my money back. It was so bad.
Well, damn, Banks.
This shit sucked.
Tell them how else you felt. What else? Get raw. Get in there, man. Just
nothing about this movie. All right, so they. Oh man.
Did Woody Harrelson not give you enough psycho?
He gave me annoying.
I actually had no problem with the way he acted. In fact, as much as I disliked the unnecessary love thing with Shriek, Naomi Harris did a fantastic job.
Super unnecessary.
It was, but it gave me kind of reminiscent Mickey Mallory vibes. And come on, bro, Woody. When we first got teased with Carnage, that's immediately what I thought. Like, okay, Woody can do Psycho. If you, for those who've never seen Natural Born Killers, a role from his earlier in his career with Juliette Lewis, they killed Iron Man in that. They killed Robert Downey Jr. in that movie. But it gave me slight with those vibes. But again, the whole love thing, that was neither here nor there for the movie. Not totally necessary, but plot MacGuffin. So whatever.
Yeah, I didn't like Shriek. I'm not saying I don't like Woody Harrelson. I didn't like him. I didn't like Carnage in this movie.
See, that's the one thing about the movie that Carl, you want to jump in? Because I can keep going.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was just waiting for the right time to say it, to kind of interject. I hear exactly where Banks is coming from. I also see how somebody can enjoy the movie, but the way I look at it is if I have to pay for this movie, then I'm going to be disappointed. Like if I were to see it like for free, it's entertaining. I mean, there are entertaining parts about it. Um, I'll go into detail later about like what are my pluses, like and minuses about it. But I hear exactly what when Banks like the displays the frustration like in his voice about the movie. Like I can picture certain parts of the movie like where he's coming from. I can see it like from my point of view. So I see that, and I'll say this one thing: Venom could be a lot better if it was attached to the Marvel universe, and you could take a lot of different characteristics, involve other characteristics in the movie. But I'll leave it at that. But I'll let you guys continue and add on later.
I feel like the one thing that saved it, because again, the love thing was unnecessary. Um, Venom doubling as the comic relief, really unnecessary.
Super
The back and
unnecessary.
forth between him and Tom and Eddie, excuse me, I'm gonna say Eddie, use his character name. That was kind of a loop. But what redeemed that for me the most was the visuals of Carnage in action and the visual, the fight. Like I thought about this movie, just kind of what they would do in the direction they went. And they gave Carnage his just due, letting Woody kind of, or letting Carnage out the box. Like he murdered the whole prison. Like that, at least the whole wing of the prison. Like all the prisoners dead, all them guards dead. I was like, okay,
He didn't kill all the prisoners. He
Carnage.
let them live.
No, when he did the tornado when it swung through, like everybody got it, bro. He kills without any regard. Like there's no champion in that. Like that's further displayed in that gas station scene when he runs in and just stomps the absolute shit out the attendant for no reason, just to get on the computer. It's like, yo, they dialed it back a little bit, but I wasn't upset with the visuals of Carnage. And then the fight at the end between Venom and Carnage. That was pretty solid for me.
Nah, fam.
I didn't mind that.
I'm gonna have to revoke your fan card for that one, dog.
And it was riddled with a lot of Easter eggs from the some of the Venom comics I recall. The lot of references to Maximum Carnage storyline, the Lethal Protectors bit. I enjoyed that personally. And of course, my favorite scene at the end, the the end credits cut scene.
I don't think that was worth 2 hours of hell.
Man, you really hated this movie.
I really fucking hated this movie.
See, bro, I didn't hate it as much. You feel about how I feel about Mortal Kombat, because I didn't hate this movie as much as Mortal Kombat. Like there were some things about this movie I was just like, that was unnecessary. That whole party scene separation, that was, you know.
Oh, what separation?
When him and Venom broke up.
Dude, that shit was so fucking.
He was at
I was just like, what?
When he was at that rave.
He was at the rave. It was at the rave, bro.
Yeah, that was
glow sticks on. Like, what are we doing here?
However, I feel like those were all, again, this movie came across to me as they were making one movie and they did a sharp pivot to open movie, up for what's coming.
This movie felt like Green Lantern.
Nah, it wasn't that bad.
This movie felt like a Marvel Green Lantern. That's how bad this movie was.
Nah, it wasn't that bad.
Yes.
Nah,
this is the equivalent to me. This is the equivalent of Green Lantern.
Nah, because Carnage was a way better villain than Parallax. Like, come on,
he's a better villain. I'm talking about the movie.
You
could have put Heath Ledger Joker in this movie, and it still wouldn't have been good. It don't matter about how good the villain was. The movie in itself sucked.
Yeah. So, is it cool if I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, like, in my opinion, adding on to what Banks is talking about, to me, the movie doesn't really flow that well. It's very like scatterplot. It's like it's pulling you every which way. It's like here.
Oh, look at this piece of information. Here's more information from something else completely fucking random. It has no time.
Maybe I was able to ignore all of that because I know exactly what to focus on for the story. I was like, in my mind, I'm piecing together an entirely separate story based off exactly what I know they're pulling from source material. I'm just like, oh, okay. And mind you, a lot of this is dialed back because it's not a rated R movie.
And then in my opinion, I feel as though they take too long to bring in Carnage. Like a good portion of the movie is Eddie and Venom going back and forth. Like, shouldn't they just be like more in sync now? I mean, they've been together for a while. I mean, what?
Yeah, this felt like a damn. This felt like
It didn't go that long for me. Like
introduction movie.
I was following that pretty, like in under 2 hours. I was like, I guess maybe I don't know. It just I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I feel as though and to piggyback on what Will says, I get where he's coming from. The scenes with Carnage, like doing damage, messing things up, messing people up. That animation, like sequence, and like the display of his just raw power is nice. I'm not gonna lie. Just seeing everything he can do, like when Will was talking about that tornado he did in the prison, like I mean,
A lot of comic references. Not to cut you
I
off, Carl,
mean,
but yeah.
yeah, and then while he's doing that, and while Carnage is wreaking havoc, and he's talking to the wardens and is talking about like, oh, I bet you taste good. But, I mean, all of these, all of these things, like, is does Woody come off as like as insane, or as like, I mean, borderline Joker as Carnage can be? Maybe not so much, but I mean, I don't think he did. I like his. I enjoyed his Carnage. Um, I feel the only negative thing about I would say about Carnage is the fact that you see at the end they're not on the same page, and I don't necessarily know how much that would be, because Carnage. I mean, Cassidy and Carnage, they're equally as psychotic and crazy. Like, I mean,
Yeah, that's another plot MacGuffin as a byproduct of that love thing, the Shriek romance. Because Carnage and that's what they were very much the same, because they are two, like you said, psychopaths to the extreme. My introduction to Carnage, Cletus gets his power in the prison, then goes through a phone book and starts looking up people and murders somebody based off the fact that he thought their name was stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like that whole thing was a little bit of a kind of a wrench in the actual Carnage character. Um, but I don't think we're done with Carnage.
Venom ate him, so
Now with the multiverse thing, and I'm gonna pure speculation, but I'm gonna say, well, any further takes on Carnage, because I thought the fights in pretty much the end, the cut scene to establish. For those who don't know, there is a cut scene mid about after the main credits reel roll, and Marvel teases what's next, and we're gonna get a long time coming mashup that we've wanted to see. I'm not gonna ruin it, but um, with that whole multiverse thing being kind of set, and what if kind of addresses that too, we could see a Carnage from another universe pop up.
we could, but
I think we will in future Spider-Man movies.
That's my thing about this movie. Carnage isn't a different entity. It's not like Carnage doesn't have to exist in every multiverse because of how, according to this movie, how he was created. It comes from a sequence of events. So if those sequence of events don't happen, Carnage isn't made again.
But that's not necessarily. There's a whole multiverse thing for real, and there are symbiotes in each one different version.
Based on this movie,
and there was. Oh, go ahead, finish your point.
Based on this movie, how Carnage was created, it's not like he's a different symbiote from like a different, and came down from the symbiote. How he was created in this movie, if those sequence of events don't happen, Carnage never exists.
There could be a different infinite ways to create him, though, according to multiverse logic.
Well, that's
just what fits with this universe. But we could get
it. Could be if he's his own entity. He's not his own entity in this movie.
Well, the way Carnage comes about is through Venom. Either way, so if there's a Venom in each multiverse, then there's a means for Carnage to be created.
Yeah, but those sequence of events have to happen. But it's not like there's a definite T'Challa in another universe, because T'Challa is a person who's a separate entity. If those sequence of events don't happen in some form or fashion, Carnage does not exist according to the movie. because he's not his own. He's not. Oh, you were born this way, and you came from a byproduct of a sociopath.
So why wouldn't that happen? Like we
Because
do know that
because
according
it's
to
a sequence
multiverse
of
logic,
events.
but according to multiverse logic, there's some events that just cannot be that have to happen that are turned like critical
some
points.
have to happen, but I'm saying
So how do we not know that Carnage's creation is not one of those critical points?
Because he's not a because it's not a it doesn't have to happen. Like it just don't.
How do you
like,
know that?
How do I know that? Because he's not even his own entity. He's not a separate person from Venom, according to this movie. Some in this movie, the serial killer.
You said like he's the son of Venom. Like he's
in the comics he's the son of Venom, but in this,
it's the same in this movie. He is. He calls him out.
He's not really his son though. It's like
I mean that's what it is, Vaughn. The symbiote. That's the same in the comics. If Carnage is created because of Venom, he is technically what would be a son. And the same way Toxin is another child of, as a result of Carnage. That's what it is. So, I know for this movie that doesn't fit for you, but all I'm saying is with the multiverse logic and what Jonathan Majors explained, we don't know if it's not one of those moments that just has to happen, a critical moment, or it could be variants off of the main timeline. But what I'm saying is we could see another Carnage in like that last episode of What If, where they drop her back in, I'm gonna wait till we get to it, but that was like, okay, so basically we can bring back characters as they need is what they're saying. And they've teased us with a Sinister Six. Carnage plays some roles in some of that, in and out. Like I'm just saying for future movies.
I got a question.
Carnage is too big of a character to kill, in my opinion, in one movie. That's another thing
he is a really big character to kill.
I didn't like that
based
part.
Based on the logic and how they set the movie up, he doesn't have to exist. He's not Venom who came from another planet and started snatching hosts. He's only here because some serial killer bit Venom and some of his symbiote got in him. So it's not even a different symbiote. It's Venom. It's Venom symbiote. It's not a different one.
I got a question.
Nah, it's Carnage. It's a real one.
Bro, no. In the comics, the symbiotes were different symbiotes. Carnage symbiote is a different symbiote from Venom.
Now check your history on Carnage birth on that one. It became, when it mixed with Cletus, it became a different. Like it's not Venom. It's Carnage is a red symbiote, separate, but from birth from. The symbiotes are a hive mind too. That's fact.
I know.
Like the whole symbiote war that's gonna, and all I'm saying is there's a whole symbiote storyline left to be explored because they did tease us with Toxin. I'm just saying, I don't think we're done with Carnage. Like what they've done to establish with the multiverse, they could bring Carnage back in some form or fashion and tell that story, the symbiote god and all, if they wanted to. That's all I'm saying. No. But, Carl, you had something?
Yeah, you kind of hinted on it a little bit. Do you guys feel like that was Toxin in that cop?
That Patrick Mulligan is absolutely Toxin.
You said it was who?
Officer Mulligan is absolutely Toxin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was wondering why his eyes was glowing. So it's like I don't get how he got a symbiote in him.
Yeah, I missed how that whole thing, because I think I looked at Raina or something and I looked up, I heard what happened.
It's because he wasn't even fighting Carnage. He was fighting Shrieker. And she choked this man to death with some chains. And then he was laying on I don't know about choked him to death, but he was like gasping for air, and then his eyes just started glowing. So it's like, what the fuck is this?
Did something leak into him? Something?
No,
I mean,
they were fighting separate. They were fighting complete different areas from Carnage, Venom. Shrieker took him somewhere to try to kill him because she was mad.
It's possible. It's possible, Banks, that the symbiote could have attached to him when Carnage abducted him later and held him hostage.
You said, hold on. You said what now?
It may be possible that the symbiote attached to him when Cassidy abducted him and then held him in that church for all that time period.
It could be possible to do a lot of stuff, but the movie is like, it doesn't really give you any indication of when it happened.
Yeah, it happens in the movie, but I'm not sure what they showed because I literally missed it.
Yeah, they didn't show.
But Toxin is the more powerful of the symbiotes, feared by both Venom and Carnage. I do know that.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that. Toxin is I was about to ask, isn't he the
Hold
most
on.
powerful out of like Venom, Anti-Venom, Carnage? Like,
One of them, yeah, for sure. Um, I know he's more powerful than Carnage and Venom. I don't know about Anti Venom.
good stuff. Good stuff.
What's going
I
on?
So it
feel
was
like
Sorry.
born somehow as a result of a conflict between Venom and Carnage. Just I don't know what in the happened in the movie that it bonded with Mulligan. Because I do know he is Toxin, the first Toxin for sure. But
yeah.
mm,
I feel as though when 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 Venom decides to go on the run because of the situation he's in, if they had been a part of the Marvel universe, this would have been a perfect time for like Nick Fury or even Hydra or I don't know, some larger corporation to step in and utilize Eddie Brock for like his skills or whatnot.
why would they do that?
Just because of how powerful he is, of all the things he's capable of doing. Just like
I mean, I
we
don't recall that happening with Eddie Brock. When I was doing some digging on trying to research piece that together, I remember Venom in the '90s being very much always the anti-hero, barring his conflict with Spider-Man. Um,
yep.
when they began to explore the full capabilities of Venom, we get Agent Venom through Flash Thompson, which explores exactly what Venom could. And that was a solid run. It didn't end the way that a lot of people would have wanted it to, but getting to see Venom actually, the symbiote itself, be controlled and be the hero. Because Eddie Brock, he doesn't have any real like as Venom. He gives in a lot to the symbiote because he's and him and Flash have this conversation towards the end of Flash's run because there's a period where Toxin bonds with Eddie, um, and Eddie's kind of at this confronts him on this kind of if I feel I know what it's like to be under the control of Venom and sometimes the symbiote can take over and Flash is kind of like no you let the symbiotes take you over because that's the type of person you are and true to the symbiote mythos they amplify whatever you are right so it was Eddie Brock and Venom were kind of a good match in that sense that Eddie was blamed Peter Parker hated Peter Parker for the way his life went. Venom, not a fan of Spider-Man because it rejected him, right? Spider-Man rejects him. So they had a common goal there. Eddie was always compromised by that and let that drive him. And Flash is kind of the example in contrast where now you can control the symbiote and going from a bully that he used to be to wanting to do good and wanting to be an actual hero. So you get to see just how powerful, what the full extent of Venom could do. Um,
I
so I
agree.
mean, to your point, I don't know why they would do that with Eddie Brock in the MCU. It would have been, I think, a better segue to maybe introduce a multiverse, which who's to say they won't? Because with the multiverse, they've kind of set up that they can pull and use whatever characters they need. And I don't think it's beyond Marvel to give us an Agent Venom.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm also speaking on the movie character, this movie's version of Eddie, which like as we talked about earlier, argues a lot with Venom. Doesn't really agree. Doesn't let him do a lot of things, and they want to actually do good things or whatnot. That's why I said like what I said. But yeah, but I
Well,
see where you're
I
going.
think that's a stake on the fact that they actually don't. Eddie is an anti-hero. Like Venom's dabbling into heroism is a result of a contrast to Spider-Man. But he's very much like the whole lethal protector bit that they keep referencing is very much on the nose. Venom does what Spider-Man won't do. So, and I think McFarlane worked on some of that early work uh, in the Venom run. So shout out to that. But two out of three hated it.
Yeah,
My
definitely
redeeming
agree.
factor was that cut scene when they given me that, and personally the way it was set up with the TV screen and just okay, we got the multiverse happening. That's on because I think that pivot is going to allow us to see the Venom we know. Because now now it kind of makes sense why Venom is the way he is in that universe. If there's no Spider-Man yet, that's yet to be established. And Eddie Venom 1, he starts in New York and then moves to San Francisco. So Spider-Man's never present at all, at least hasn't been introduced yet. So maybe that changes the symbiote in some sense, or maybe they'll explain why there's that strange magnetism to that. Maybe we'll see the symbiote try to disband or unbond with Eddie, do the whole Spider-Man 3 thing that they tried to tease where it tries Peter Parker and he shakes it off in some universe. I don't know, but I think that might be a way to segue, kind of pivot to the Venom that we all grew up reading, the little bit more ruthless, savage, brute Venom. So we'll see though.
I'm sorry, that cutscene wasn't worth it. That was too.
I'm just a fanboy for the Maximum Carnage story. Like that was really that's one of my favorite, personal favorite comic books.
They should have did a better one.
I mean, who's to say it's not coming? That's what I'm saying. When I say I don't think we're done with Carnage, because you can't give us Carnage, tease the clash we've all been wanting, and then ignore the fact that there's one of the best Spider-Man stories ever was when they had to force a team up to stop Carnage. Like, you can't be done with this motherfucker. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're smart, bring that man back, please.
You can easily be done with it, especially since it's a Sony movie. Like,
but the end scene changes. It establishes it's now in the MCU. Like, come on, man. I think this might be Sony's last touch. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is, you keep saying like you can't do that. They most definitely can do that.
Oh, well, yeah, and all things considered, yeah. Yeah, and all things considered, they could. But this day and age, we see it's not beyond, like, come on, bro. We have 2 Suicide Squad movies within the same 5-year window. They turn right around in the same breath. They'll turn right around and reboot something real quick. Like, consider this.
The only reason they did that one because the first one was so ass that they had to do
Bro, they're doing it with Amazing Spider-Man. Remember, the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, we were all set up for the Sinister Six. That was Doc Ock, Rhino, all that. They've essentially taken that story and meshed it into the MCU once. Like, that's what's happening. Like that, and they nixed Amazing Spider-Man's run, right? When the whole Marvel getting full rights back to certain other characters. Bro, they just took that story and they're putting it in the MCU. That's what it seems like to me. And TBD if Andrew Garfield is going to actually appear along with Tobey Maguire in this movie. That could have all just been rumor mills up until this point. We'll find out in a couple of months, but
that cutscene was not worth sitting through the entire movie. The movie was
9-year-old me was ecstatic. All I kept seeing was the Genesis game cover. Carnage over the city, all red, sky. Like, bro, come on.
The movie was ass.
You ass. Hater.
No, that movie was ass.
No, yo, taste buds is ass. Bro.
Anybody that liked it was ass.
Anybody that's hating on Carnage, wrecking a prison, ass, bro. I can't believe your opinion,
bro. That movie was booty butt cheeks clapping in the wind, bro. That movie sucked.
Yeah, that's a lot of several things going on there. All right,
sucked, bro.
I mean, it's not a movie I'm gonna watch twice. But I enjoyed that first watch through for sure.
If I could, I would erase it from my memory. That's how bad that movie was.
Dog, you make it sound like it was just worse than Mortal Kombat, man.
It was. No, I ain't gonna say worse. Mortal Kombat. I ain't gonna, cause like I'm not gonna get Mortal Kombat props either. The movie sucked too.
No, but like Mortal Kombat set a new standard and low for me. Like that is absolute.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as Mortal Kombat, but
I wouldn't put it nowhere close. Like, I get what you're saying, Banks. Those things I was just willing to tolerate for the sake of I know what's coming. I know what they're gonna set. They setting this up for, and I say this, I'll die on this island if I have to. If this is indeed just a filler, because it felt a little rushed, and for it to be a movie that Tom Hardy was so proud to work on from 1 and 2, if it turns out that for some reason behind the scenes, this ended up having to just be a filler movie, and the way for them to make use of the licenses and properties that they have rights to keep them alive so they can do more and do better with it in the future. Now that Marvel's got their hands involved, I can take that. And I'm only pumped about that because I'm huge speculation. Doc Strange is a key here. I'm not sure how, but too much is going on with Doctor Strange between Venom 2. Huh?
I said he's definitely a key. Like
I mean, so Venom 2, what if Loki, Doc Strange is dead in the current comic book. Death Doc Strange, which is going to be told, that's one I meant to mention. So we've got 6 main issues on that. And then we'll be told congruent across Avengers #1, Strange Academy, Death of Doc Strange. Each one gets one off. There's an Amazing Spider-Man, a White Fox, a Death of Doctor Strange Blade issue, a X-Men Black Knight issue before Doc Strange 4 and 5 finish. So
is he dead, or is he just dead in the multiverse, universe of the
So I'm gonna get to this. So that's the thing, because what if I told y'all that I liked that, particularly that Doc Strange issue, and as we get to what if and recap each episode, they come back to Doc Strange, and in the Death of Doctor Strange, he is murdered right off the bat. Issue #1, somebody gets to him, caps his ass. Right, he had a sixth sense about it, so at some point he shaved a piece of his soul off and put a spell on it into a pocket dimension, so that in the event of his demise, the spell would, undo, and his younger self would come forth and know what's going on, because that was his purpose all along. But there's something hinging on that, and I'm just not sure what. But I'm really excited about how they're piecing it together slowly but surely.
Yeah, I like the multiverse, the idea of having multiple universes, but I don't like the idea of people knowing about them. It gives people
certain people knowing the multiverses exist.
Yeah, because it's like it gives people too many loopholes into their deaths and stuff like that. So
mind you, it's not a thing that becomes known in entirety by everybody.
I know not by everybody. I'm just saying it's like the main character, the characters that you is supposed to die, and like Thanos. Thanos knows about it. So if evil Thanos ever wanted to not die, he would just go to another universe.
Wait, in the MCU, Thanos knows about it, or in the?
I think in the according to,
I know in the comics he's aware, like he's one of the bad guys that's aware there's all of that. Him, Doc Doom, like certain villains just are aware, but in the MCU, I don't think he's established that he knows.
If they die and they don't want to die, they'll just go into a multiverse somewhere and change it. So like I don't mind it for the sake of telling different stories, but like when people start using it as a loophole to circumvent their death in the storyline, it's just like a constant way to always bring people back. And I'm not really. I think that's kind of lazy as far as like right.
It definitely opens the door for that, but I don't think they're going to take that route. Certainly in some one-offs, because there's still rules with the multiverse usage. The timekeepers established early that you can't just always do that because they exist to thwart that kind of thing. Like, nah, too many variants throws too much shit off. So it's not a thing that we see just happening all the time. It fits as it needs to, which is plot MacGuffin, obviously. Yeah. But there's, but
lazy writing.
But it's not with every character. And I think What If did a good job at kind of establishing that it's not always going to be centered around the characters that we're so familiar with. Hence, the Guardians of the Multiverse. The last super team I recall was the Illuminati, which also included a Black Panther. So to see.
Dope episode.
Yeah, let's get into What If. Since we're on the subject. I mean, last episode of What If, Disney series, episode 9, I believe, is live today. What are y'all's thoughts? We're gonna go by each episode and give run through.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We can go by each episode.
Did y'all watch them straight? Did y'all watch them straight through?
I did. I watched it like week by week.
I watched it all at once, but some of the episodes I skipped, so I watched some of them out of order.
I watched 1 through 4 then as they came out, but I mean we can talk. I'll pull up the order right here.
I watched all of them. I ain't gonna lie, I skipped the zombie one.
It was a fun episode, but not really.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
It went about how you expected it to go.
Yeah, so it's like some of the episodes, like when I was reading through them, I was like, yo, I know, that one's gonna be pertinent to the story, but some of them were just good story. But So some of them I
So
skipped.
let's start with
but I went back.
what
to
if
watch.
Captain Carter were the first Avenger?
Yeah. What were you guys'
So,
thoughts on that one?
so here's my thoughts on that one. Even though it was like the first episode, I don't think, as far as like pertinence to the story, I don't think it was very pertinent. Like it could have, like, the Doctor Strange episode was very pertinent to like the entirety of the show. I don't think the first Avenger or the Captain Carter one was pertinent to the story. Like that could have been, you could have told that story about any character and then put them as like an Avenger in that story, and it wouldn't make no difference. Like I don't,
I
I
think
think
it was
I
about
think,
Captain America.
huh?
Like I think it was about it having to be a version of Captain America.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying. Like
Peggy Carter
I
is.
get
So
that. Like,
in
but
that
that's what I'm
sense, she
saying.
is kind of important to the story because she is the Captain America for their group.
I know she's the Captain America, but I'm saying I'm talking about the pertinence of the entire story, which is um the
Just
Watcher.
the flip
Yeah.
on the origin story of Cap, just with Peggy from
Yeah,
Peggy Carter.
it's just the flip of the origin story of Cap. So it's like you could have took any character and just flipped it and it made them an Avenger. But I don't think Captain America being in this storyline really made a difference, because like I just don't like.
Hmm.
So granted, it was a cool story, a cool take on it, but
I don't know, man. Captain America is the fighting spirit of the team.
Yeah.
not really.
The way
Iron
I
Man
look,
is the fighting spirit of the team.
eh, I mean, maybe
Iron
they
Man's definitely
yeah.
the fighting spirit. Captain America is just the goody two shoes.
Cap carries is the when people, but like when he said he's a living legend and kind of lives up to the legend, it's Captain America is like an idea to the team. You know what I mean? The first Avenger, that whole. I think it's more so with the Guardians of the Multiverse. You have essentially each version of the Avengers. Like Killmonger's filling in for Stark in the genius mode tech, but he's also dual duty as Black Panther. You know, each of them is kind of representing a combination of what's missing from the team we know, minus your strong points like Thor, obviously, right? You got Widow, some, but I don't know. I thought the Peggy Carter episode was just fun. It was a nice take.
I'm not saying it was a bad episode. I'm talking about like the pertinence to.
Yeah. You're talking about as like it's knowing what happened at the ending episode
Yeah,
of
it's
the
like,
team that was assembled that she's
been
not
anybody.
I mean she's not as big as some like the other members or whatnot.
Like
Or
it could have been
like her
How can y'all
episode,
not
like
say
where
that
does
when
he
it's literally her that jumps on the back of Ultron and pulls his head up?
because they wrote it like that, bro. They literally could have made Spider-Man do that. What I'm saying is,
So you have a problem with the way it was written.
no, well, I don't have a problem with the way it's written. I just don't think
But
that,
you just said.
no, bro. I said it because it's written like that. I don't have a problem that she's the one that jumped on their back. What I'm saying is that their individual stories are not pertinent to the overall story. Like the zombie one, the only reason the zombie one mattered is because in a spoiler.
It didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like Peggy's didn't matter either, only because it didn't have to be Peggy. I get it. What if Peggy? Yeah, cool. She would have been the British Knight, Captain Carter, instead of Captain America.
So you don't like Peggy Carter?
Why you keep trying to put words in my mouth, bro?
I'm asking. That's why I asked. Like, is that? It sounds like
I've said this like 4 times. I thought it was a good episode. It's cool how they flipped it. I just don't think it was pertinent to the overall story. Like her story was pertinent to the overall story.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is some of the episodes they're just cool episodes. They're just
cool
fun.
episodes. They don't really have anything to
They're
do.
just fun to imagine, like, oh, like, hey, what would it be like if such and such, if this like happened? And then some of the episodes they're very vital to like the ending episode in the season. I think that's just how they did it. But
I think that was the entire purpose of the show. A lot of that is the what ifs, and they managed to weave in their own mini story. Mini story with its own arc, quick development at the end to tie it all off. I can't agree with the lack of importance or pertinence when it was all a big what if, and her character played a pretty significant role at the end. I mean, they could have used Thor a lot more. Um, if anything, the What If showed us where they went wrong in the actual MCU. I mean, did anybody really have to die if Vision would have had the logic that Ultron applied, like with the Mind Stone? You know, it poked a lot of holes in what we saw happen in the MCU. That's for fucking sure.
Uh, speaking of
that man.
speaking of that Vision episode, I think that was a little bit of what you call like plot MacGuffin or whatnot, just to make things interesting. But
That's
but
not necessarily because the Mind Stone and Captain Marvel both that was talked about heavily in the chats. Like y'all really powered it down, and as well as Scarlet Witch, because we didn't have to get as far as we did because she's quite powerful and more. You know, the movies just didn't explore why they couldn't have, but very much so, Vision could have ended that in Wakanda.
yeah, and I think what happened, what the biggest difference between like Ultron and Vision, I think obviously Ultron is trying to conquer pretty much everything, but I believe he looked at as soon as he saw Thanos analyze the situation and think like, oh, he's not using the stones, I need to attack.
Well, Ultron knew how to use the full extent of the Mind Stone.
Yeah,
That's a big difference. Vision in the MCU, when he's created, he's very much infant like in kind of his awakening, learning his purpose, stepping in. They illustrate that. So it could be just him not fully understanding what he could do. And he says that in the beginning of Infinity War or Endgame. He actually says in that scene with Scarlet Witch, I barely understand what this thing in my head is. So that's pretty much why. He doesn't understand just how powerful he is, because a stone on its own, and they show this in the final fight with in Endgame. Captain Marvel's holding her own against Thanos, even with the glove. You know, they're tug of war back and forth, but she's giving this man some blows, and he's feeling that.
yeah,
A person who has mastery of a single individual stone is God level power. So
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. That does make a lot of sense. I was just saying, I think the character specifically like in this TV show, I think Ultron, like you said, like having the awareness of everything he can do with the stone. I think he assessed that moment like in not even like less than a second, that for Thanos to even like be on my he has to actually use the stones. He's not even using them right now. Oh, like this is perfect. I got him.
I think it was more so a realization that his the luck, like because at this point when Thanos steps through, the Ultron's aware. He's conscious enough and he's done enough damage that he's kind of sentient a little bit, but the stones take him to the next level. But I think in his vast knowledge, the way Stark designed him, when Thanos steps to that portal, he kind of immediately recognizes the opportunity. Like, not to shot from your point, but just the sheer, oh, I can't believe all 5 of these stones came through, because I'm sure he's aware, you know, he's defeated a Doc Strange and a couple, like he knows about these stones out there. He's got knowledge of them. But to see all 5 of them come through and to just know, actually, I could take those pretty quick just because I know how to, like, he's not going to be able to stop what I can do with this full stone, because Thanos himself doesn't know the full power of the stones. We see him do things here and there, but he's not actually exercising the full power, because if he were, they never would have been able to come back and defeat him in any reality. And that's just point blank.
Well, a little change of pace. How you guys feel about episode 2? This is arguably my favorite episode.
I mean, episode was an enjoyable watch. I enjoyed that. A real tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I mean, I said what I had to say about it before, but I mean, it was basically episode 2 gives us a look at what if instead of Peter Quill becoming Star-Lord, it was T'Challa.
Yeah.
The love spreads throughout the galaxy. Everybody.
And side note, bro, how bad did they like crap on Peter Quill? Like, I mean, T'Challa is so much better of a Star Lord that, I mean, oh my goodness, like it's not that have anything against like Peter Quill's character or whatnot, but man, they crapped on him. That crapped on him pretty bad when it showed like how much better of a Star Lord he was, and it just, to me, it just showed like how great of a leader or how good of a leader T'Challa is in general and like his character or whatnot. I know a lot of people were probably a little miffed by the fact that his character was able to convince Thanos not to be Thanos by just having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, I like that. But
Which episode was y'all favorite one?
What if
uh,
Ultron won?
Huh?
What if Ultron won? Second to last, number 8.
Uh,
mine, I think it would probably be between T'Challa, Star Lord, and zombies.
mine was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange previously was mine because of that whole isolation bit, but the final fight, like the fight between Watcher and Ultron, Sentient Ultron, was like when he started punching that man through realities. I was like, oh god, like this man getting rinsed, bro. Like each punch, Wakanda, it's just New York. I'm just like, damn, dude, that is an epic ass whooping to be punched through different realities. So, but I like what they did with the setup. That and I gotta, I mean, what left to be said about the Black Panther episode? I mean, really, yeah. And I can't speak on Peter Quill because I actually have not read any of the Guardians of the Galaxy adventures because they weren't actually a thing coming up. This new team is fairly new. Or there was a Guardians of the Galaxy team that we get a teaser for at the end of the first movie, but they didn't have a huge run. So, but yeah, it was really a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, if anything. And Netflix in Chadwick News, I believe his scholarship at Howard, they made the first donation, I think 5.8 million, something like that. But that scholarship, he set up a memorial scholarship at Howard University for students in the inner city or students in general, underprivileged kids to have a shot and get a full ride. So that is lit and live. Um, yeah, that episode hit in the feels, I think. Episode 2.
How do you feel about Banks?
What?
How did you feel about the T'Challa Star Lord
How
episode?
did I feel about the T'Challa episode? It was my favorite episode until I saw the Doc Strange one. Um, yeah, I just man, just seeing how much the galaxy changed just by changing one person, and then like everybody you think that would be, against him. Everybody that's against Star Lord likes T'Challa. Uh, and just seeing the stark contrast in the universe just because one person got picked up.
Yeah.
So everybody making genocide jokes about Thanos. So they pretty much talked him out of doing it. So that's like he was going to do it, but they talked him out of it instead of killing him. So it's just like just seeing the stark difference. I thought that was real cool. And then like um, him being a natural explorer, and that's how he got picked up. And not on no malicious stuff, but they were just like, this is who we looking for. Then how he got mistaken for that, just all of it. It was really good.
Yeah,
And then seeing
they never explained how he actually accidentally got picked
they
up.
never explained what.
How he accidentally got, because mind you, the Ravager's mission was to pick up Ego's son.
Because he was by Wakanda, but he was by the
No, no.
force field, and it was.
I
giving
mean,
off
what I'm
false
saying
illusions.
is the mission, they came to Earth because they were picking up Ego's
Quill.
kids.
Yeah.
T'Challa is not any type of Ego's kids. Like it's really a complete random what if how they ended up like, yeah, they picked him up, but mind you, when they came to get
it's
Quill,
because dude sent some henchmen down there instead of going down there himself like he did when he picked up Quill.
Are you talking about Yandu?
Yeah.
what
So
I'm
like,
saying is this in this universe, they were completely all the way. It was basically they picked him up because the story wanted them to, but they were nowhere near anywhere where they would have picked up Quill in the first place.
oh.
It was a complete like random like if you were looking for one of Ego's kids and you kind of have an idea, your henchman just completely fucked it up anyway. Like they just to go down and get a Wakandan prince, bro.
Does this look like him?
It's like what? Like the dumbest henchman in the several galaxies, bro. Because y'all picked up the complete polar opposite of what you.
I think they were just going off the readings from Earth. I think
that's what they. I mean, it was a big what if again? That's the whole. I had to watching the series not attach too much to that wouldn't have that because it's like, well, it's all what ifs. These are infinite universes, infinite galaxies. These stories are happening elsewhere. Episode 3. This was one of my favorite episodes up until post. This was the what if the world lost its mightiest heroes, the serial killer stopped down the Avengers. I love when they show how relevant a character that you think is weak can actually be, like really a threat. I wouldn't have thought of that. Anything that Hank Pym did.
I gotta be honest. There was a part of this episode that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not saying I didn't like just hated the episode, but there was a part where Hank takes down the Hulk, and I'm just thinking like, bro, that's just not happening. Like no way on earth.
Why wouldn't it happen, Carl? They explain the science perfectly.
Well, because like Pym particles don't work that way. You can't just isolate a organ or enlarge that part.
It wasn't an organ. It was a whole on a molecular level. It was a gamma molecule.
I know, but that's not how his particles work. If it hits something, all of it enlarges. Like
it wasn't a Pym particle he threw. He threw the enlarger. That wasn't a Pym particle.
So what? Hold on. You're saying so?
No, he's got his Pym thing that makes him grow, but that the device he has that can shrink or grow, he threw it on one of the Hulk's molecules and made it was the quantum thing to make the Hulk's molecules expand beyond what he could contain. It wasn't a Pym particle he threw. It was
even if he did that, you couldn't kill the Hulk that way. Like his regenerative, like with his ability to regenerate, I just don't see that happening.
Oh no, the Hulk can be you have to destroy in total, but it can't happen. It's been that can happen.
I just had a rough. I mean, I'm just talking about me personally. I just don't see the Hulk dying like that. Like, I mean, if you figure out another way, okay, but like
neither did Bruce Banner. which is what I loved about it because it was kind of that's the first thing I'm thinking when when Iron Man the first one to get it, because Iron Man obviously is probably the one to figure it out. He takes out Iron Man first. I'm wondering like, okay, you got Thor, you got the Hulk, like no way. No, Hank found a way.
Yeah, Thor was human though, so that was
Thor
smart.
Is not human.
I'm saying like he was like Odin took away his powers.
Well, yeah, with the vulnerability part. Yeah, but still, Thor was.
Thanks. How you feel?
About him killing Hulk or him killing Thor?
Just like how.
Well, the whole episode, because basically, for listeners, whoever didn't listen, Hank Pym went psycho because after losing not only Jane, he lost hope in action. So Hank Pym went all dark, rogue, psychopath murder, and whacked the Avengers.
It wasn't. I didn't really care for the episode. So. I mean, it was just it was another one of those things. Like it was a cool episode, but it's like I'm gonna be real. Like when I first heard about the show, I didn't think any of the episodes were gonna have continuity, which is why I didn't watch them in order at first. So it wasn't until I started watching some of the episodes that I realized that they did have continuity. So I had to go back and rewatch it from beginning to end, because what I thought it was, I thought it was going to be a bunch of one-offs, just telling a bunch of what ifs. But after I think it was episode 6, I was like, that's when I realized that it was a continuity story. So I had to go
right
back
at the
and
end, like right at the end.
Yeah. So like towards episode 6, that's when I was like, oh, this is a storyline within a bunch of what ifs. So I had to go back and watch it, and then I think the second episode was just one of those episodes that didn't really have continuity to the story. So it's like,
if anything, they set up for spinoffs. Like I could see what if season.
Yeah, I think that's
they if anything, they did that.
I think that's what the whole. Honestly, that's what I thought the whole purpose of the show was to generate, future storylines.
And this will also be a way for them to introduce characters as they get licensing back.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, in a nutshell, when I think about the expanded Marvel universe, if they ever want to introduce a character or use a character in the MCU, you've got now an exclusive way to do that in an established multiverse framework that actually works. No matter what story you pull from,
Yeah.
it can work.
And I think that's what their reasoning for doing the multiverse was. Is like you can tell pretty much any story you want to in the entirety of Marvel history, because you can just be like, well, it's not the main timeline. It's not this. This doesn't happen in that timeline. It's a multiverse. So you can pretty much tell any story you want if it's written.
Which I think that works. Honestly, as a fan, long time comic fan,
definitely works.
Before we had multiverses introduced. And believe it or not, kids, yeah, for a long time in our childhood, there wasn't a multiverse. You just had stories, different ones.
Yeah.
But once they established these multiverses, I think it all works to tell the stories you want to tell, and also to kind of help settle the score on many of the debates on what's canon, what isn't. I think when I was a kid, I was of the mindset or belief that Sabretooth and Wolverine were father and son, or I'd heard that from somewhere.
You thought they were father and son?
Somebody had said that. I remember hearing some stuff like that, but turns out they were actually just like brothers, something like that.
I seen them niggas fighting together. I'm like, they definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, the stories I've different brothers or
I've heard that too.
I've heard that's an old
father and son before.
Yeah, I've heard brothers, but I've never heard father and son.
And because of the multiverse, both could be true or both could be complete bullshit. So,
but brothers only came from that stupid ass X-Men movie. I hate something.
Damn, Banks, you had to go and remind me. You had to go. Now, you want to talk about worst Marvel movies? You dare put Venom 2 in that conversation?
Yeah, I would. Look, bro.
Deadpool exists and you put Venom in that conversation?
X-Men Origins Wolverine and Deadpool Venom 2 are pretty much neck and neck.
He had a knuckle sword, bro.
I don't give a damn.
He had a cheap.
They had Venom at a rave, freaking partying with people, complaining about his breakup with
acceptance and equality, Banks.
Bro, that is not what he was mad about.
No, it was. He said, "I should be able to be me." That was an on the nose monologue about.
You're an alien who eats people. Like you don't. You're devoid of like those. I don't. That's what.
You can't be you alien.
No, but I'm saying like you're an alien symbiote who, devours people. Pretty much. That's what the symbiotes do when they get on people. I don't think you would have the same type of emotional, problems that a human would when your only concern is eating.
They've definitely in the movies given Venom anthropomorphic qualities.
Yeah, and it's like
I don't recall him being this human in the comics that I used to read.
He's the reason Venom was such a dangerous villain is because all he cared about was murdering people and eating them.
Hence the lethal protector bit that they kept throwing, because that's for those who don't know, when Venom's one of the first comments, Venom, the lethal protector. So that whole him and Eddie shouting that out, like that was like a real geek moment for me. Just like, I remember the lethal protector.
And then like even at the end of Venom 2, I know we back on it, they added the power of friendship as the reason Venom was able to get up. Did y'all miss that part?
You're talking about when he was talking about,
look, we're together.
They're not together. We are.
We're together. Friendship, yay.
Hey, thanks to the power of friendship, we started this pod. What you talking about, man? You got something against the power of friendship?
Bro, that is not Venom.
You ain't Venom.
No, you ain't Venom.
No, bro, you ain't Venom. You ain't Sith. You ain't Venom.
You about to see two Sith motherfuckers on here.
You're not talking like
you ain't Venom.
Lately, you're not talking like yourself, Banks. You need to go
not talking like a Sith, bro.
Maybe take your lightsaber apart, put it back together, because you acting real.
Nah, bro, you acting real bluish right now, dog. What's going on with you, dog?
You real green right now, my guy.
You real blue right now, dog. What's going on with you?
Hey, it's always room on the light side.
Hey, man, go ahead and take them over there. with the teacups.
He was talking to you, Banks.
No, bro.
I know Carl wasn't talking to me.
He's definitely talking to me. Ain't
I'm
no
Gucci
power
over
friendship
in my
over
lane,
here,
bro.
dog.
I'm over here in my. I even got on black, bro. What you talking about? You tripping? You wearing color.
I got on black too.
You got on green, my guy.
I got on green and black.
Mm.
Look out of here.
Hey, there's room on the gray side too.
No, man. Ain't no room on the bright side.
Carl, why don't you go shoot some wall plants to tie to wings or some shit? All right. I'm having a conversation with my mans right now. Go blow up a Death Star, bro.
They added +3 strength on Venom because of friendship.
Because the power of friendship, bro. So for those out there who don't have friends, sucks to be you. No, just kidding. Power of friendship it's a thing.
Bro, that movie sucked.
Man, stop hating on Venom, bro.
Bro, that movie sucked, bro. The movie was bad.
It's not worth the money.
I'm really holding on
It's
to
definitely not worth the money.
Bro, first off, who ain't got $13 for a movie? We don't do that.
I got $13. It don't mean I want to give it to somebody and sit in the movie theater for 2 hours and pull my nose hairs out because I'm so frustrated.
That's $13 you'd have pissed off on beer or something, cuz. Like,
nah, bro, that's $13. Could have spent it on some organic green apple juice, dog.
And you still can. You still can, family.
Banks, I got what Banks is saying is $13 to $12 is not a lot, but the movie was so bad to him that it felt like
it's not worth it.
That little amount.
Sounds like that's what you're saying, Carl. That's what you're saying,
bro. That movie was not worth
been very clear saying that he thought it sucked. It was trash. It was booty butt cheeks. That's what you're saying, though. But go ahead, go off,
bro. That movie wasn't worth a free ticket.
I mean, I felt See, I'd have took a free ticket on that. I got one actually. I could have used. I didn't think about it. Because believe it or not, I thought about using it for No Time to Die, but I don't know if I'm excited about seeing another Bond movie. Let's be honest.
I'm not
excited. Bond. Side note, I love me some.
I mean, I love him. I'm just it's not like I'm cool. I might check it out, but not to get distracted. The next episode was
the zombies. Wasn't that the zombies?
Nah, Doc Strange lost his heart instead of his hands. Though.
My favorite episode.
Yeah, that was a dark episode.
That man, Doctor Strange was eating everybody.
Yo, so basically, synopsis listeners, spoilers, Doc Strange, instead of the accident wrecking his ability to operate, it killed Christine, love of his life. So he goes on a tear through the spiritual world and across the universes, consuming celestial creatures and all sorts of stuff to make himself powerful because he's convinced that he can change it. He can save her life, go back in time. And just turns out that this is one of those critical moments that can't be undone.
Yeah, because without this critical moment, Doctor Strange doesn't become Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So there's no way around it, no way to shake it. Yeah, she has to die.
I got an unpopular opinion. This was not my favorite episode. I just couldn't. I got tired of seeing her die, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the part Will left out because even though Doctor Strange, even though I'm not saying it was bad, but like he said that Doctor Strange just goes on a tear eating magical beings. It's because he goes crazy. That's really what it is. He watches his wife, his girl, not his wife, his girl that he in love with die. Like,
and he must have tried it a million different ways.
It was bad, bro. I was like,
he tried it
stop doing it to yourself.
Like. He tried bailing on the whole dinner. When then an electrical fire happened, her whole apartment building went up. He tried.
Stood her up.
Yeah, he stood her up. She still dies in a car accident somehow, or she had a heart attack. She just had a heart attack at the middle side of the road, crying from sorrow. They skipped out on the event, and some guy walks into the restaurant they're in eating pizza and
shot
her. Like it was
he
bad.
Let her drive. Wreck.
Yeah. It was bad.
He swerved when the dude came, hit from the back. It did not matter what he did, bro. He just kept doing it over and over and over again. It drove him to madness.
I think he even went somewhere away out the way and then read about that she had died. Like he removed himself from her life completely, thinking loved her that much to where thinking maybe like on some butterfly effect shit. Maybe if I'm just not a part of the equation, she can still live. Nope. She still got to die.
Died.
So yeah.
So yeah. He goes
was
crazy.
heavy.
He goes mad and pretty much gets just looks in all the books, looks for more and more knowledge, try to become more powerful, and then that power just corrupts him.
Well, I guess actually in the end he does achieve his goal. He is able to save her,
No, you
but
don't.
there's a well, it does. He saves her, but the caveat with that is him saving her undoes his entire reality, and
No, it don't.
undoes her too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He didn't actually save her because she dies. He just resurrects her.
What I'm saying in the technicality, he's able to save her from that incident. She does not die in the accident. He's able to rescue her, but
she does die in the accident. He lifts her out the car.
No, he pulled. That's what I'm saying. Him pulling her out of that, like he cancels out that moment, which is what undoes the reality. Like him, either way it goes, she's gonna die. But what I'm saying is, on the technicality, yeah, he technically saves her from the accident, but that ends up undoing your entire reality, so she dies anyway. So it's kind of a poetic.
And then he's trapped in a pocket universe because like the reality is like he's still alive in the pocket. He's just
he's too powerful to die.
Yeah,
he's left
everything.
Go ahead.
There's everything comes undone except for him. So he's just like in a black abyss,
left floating in his own dimension, in a pocket dimension, in what used to be his reality, because his reality exists no more. But he has literally consumed enough celestial beings, enough power to where he exists outside of that at the end of all time in a little pocket dimension held together by a magic spell.
So
and that is the fate of Doctor Strange in that reality
by himself.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part, because for a brief moment he thinks it's just going to be him and her, like he's like, all right, but then as reality's melting away, she fades to black on his ass.
What'd you do?
Like, damn, dude.
What did you do? He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, so and he looked, it was heartbreaking, man, because he looked up at the Watcher at some point, and this is the part where in the series where they established that at some point you can become powerful enough to where you're sentient and can sense the presence of, because the Watcher is, I guess, a celestial, right? I guess.
I don't know. I think so. I don't know.
Let's check Marvel fandom. The Watchers.
I think so. He got a big head, so probably so.
In an alternate reality of Earth X, the Watchers are slaves of Celestials.
You said they slaves of the Celestials?
In Earth X, I have that. Okay, so oldest species in the universe committed to, here we go. So they're known to be the oldest species in the universe. Their original name has been forgotten. Doesn't say if they're Celestials or not.
I don't think they. You said if they slaves to the Celestials in another universe, they're probably not Celestials.
No, but they're like them. The Celestials revealed, the Dreaming Celestial reveals to Uatu, I guess is one of the main Watchers we know, that the Watchers, like the Celestials themselves, were servants of a concept called fulcrum with apparent consequences for interference. So yeah, I don't guess that they're Celestials, but there's something like that. Okay, well,
pretty much he gets strong enough to just see this motherfucker.
Well, but they're powerful enough to an extent where if you become powerful at some level, you can sense the presence of. So they're up there with godlike powers. Like, they're not to be trifled with easily. But obviously the one-ups on them would be like the Celestials, since considering that they once enslaved them. But next episode, the Doctor Strange episode went hard. Next episode, Carl's favorite, zombies, Walking Dead, Marvel Dead. Not a super pertinent episode to the main, I guess, the story, as y'all like to say, but I mean, a fun episode.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I found myself wondering why the heroes didn't hero more. It's like, you would think as heroes, y'all could stop a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I would think as Thor, You would just fly in the air and just
incinerate Scarlet Witch. But also an interesting twist to it. After becoming zombies, they maintain the functionality of their hero personas.
Yeah, it's like how you. I thought your brain functionality ceased when you became a zombie. So it's like Scarlet Witch was still beaming people up,
bro, and aware that she can do it.
Yeah,
like she knows.
Not a zombie. Like, what are you, like a ghoul? Like what's going on here?
Like Captain America zombie. Go ahead, Carl.
Was Thor in this one?
I don't remember.
I
feel like he was because Asgard got turned to zombies too. Didn't Heimdall or something?
Yeah, I'm just saying if I was a superhero who had mystical powers, I'm not getting killed by no damn zombie. I'm beaming.
There's enough of how'd it happen again? Fucking Hank Pym, little tiny Hank Pym flies his little mosquito ass and bites somebody, and now the whole fucking team's infected. Like, this guy. That's why I love the serial killer episode. So it's like, damn. Just when because I'm trying to figure, like, watching the episode, like, how does this happen? Like, no way, Iron Man. Like, if I'm Iron Man, I'm in the Iron Tower somewhere. I've got the technology. I'm working on a cure. You know what I mean? Me and Bruce locked away. Like the Hulk, his skin can't even be bitten through, right? How do you zombify Hulk?
Yeah, they show that at the end of the episode where he's fighting like all those people and like they can't do anything with him. But I thought it was interesting how Vision was able to control them.
Yeah, wait, didn't Vision become a zombie?
No, I don't think so.
How? He's an android.
No, I know. Oh no, he blew up the Mind Stone. That's what happened.
Okay, I was like, I was like, how did Vision become a zombie if he's metal? But they just killed him.
Yeah, I think because they were on their way to that facility, and what happened was Vision was keeping Scarlet Witch at bay, and he couldn't bring himself to get rid of her.
Yeah. That's what it was.
He was
the only one strong enough to keep Scarlet Witch subdued.
Yeah, but he was doing his like governor thing. Like, you know how the governor was keeping his daughter alive. Like, it's like, bro, just it ain't her no more, man. Just bro, move on. You're being real human right now, even though you're not.
Easier said than done, I suppose. Why didn't the giant lady just? Who was that? That was that Hope? That wasn't Hope this time.
Yeah, I think it was.
Instead of Hank, was it Hope that? Okay,
Yeah.
why didn't Hope? I don't know what she goes by when she's giant, but I'm just gonna go with Hope Van Dyne. Why didn't she just go giant and step on a bunch of zombies? Like that seemed like the easiest first thing I would have done. Like if I had that, like I'm bigging up and I'm kicking and punting everything, like walking through cities, just kicking the shit out the undead.
Yeah.
And they not getting up. Like I'm 60, 70, 80 feet. Yeah. I'm foot to the back of the head, cock back.
Yeah, you getting disjointed. Yeah. So it's like it's just my thing about the episode. It's like, well, yeah, why didn't you just use your powers and kill everything?
Why didn't y'all actually avenge some shit? Like zombies is the one thing y'all should be avenging for. Like y'all can stop Thanos from an intergalactic hostile takeover, but y'all can't stop zombies.
Y'all can stop.
The Justice League would never.
Bro, yeah, the Justice League got turned into zombies. The Justice League got taken over by Starro and Jarro.
Evil Superman would never. Evil Superman would murk everybody, bro.
Speaking of Thanos, he was waiting at Wakanda for them all zombified at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if people remember that, but
Zombie Thanos still with the thirst to conquer the universe, huh? Undead and all.
Bro,
that's commitment.
No. Y'all, it just speaking of Thanos, did y'all see when he was getting his back beat in with that hammer on the T'Challa episode? With him and when the two
of the Midnight Order, he was fighting them.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, they was fucking Thanos up,
hammer,
dog.
bro.
Yo, imagine that. How the fact that Thanos not being a psychopath dumbed down his fighting ability too. Like he's still formidable, but just that he's one character that really needs that mean streak. There's no in between with this guy. Like if he's nice, it's not the same thing though. Because there's no way in hell that the two of the Midnight Order should ever be able to rinse or wash things.
Bruh.
Yeah, I was thinking about that
She
too.
was whacking that man in his knees with that pole.
Bruh. Treating Thanos like old
man.
man Thanos. Get off your stoop, Thanos.
That was funny. I just thought about that. And they was like doing the overhead view of it when he was hitting him in the back.
That's almost as bad as when Green Lantern got stomped out by them parasites in war. Hey, watch this, Wonder Woman, and they jumped in, started putting boots to his ass. Like, yeah. Yeesh. Episode 6. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? I appreciated this episode.
Yes, I enjoyed this episode.
I was mad that they still made Killmonger the villain.
Was he really the villain?
Yeah.
He was
in that episode. Yeah, later on.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And later on, when he got snatched up, even when he got snatched up, they was about to go try to kill him because he.
Well, I asked because I've often stood by the fact that Black Panther, I don't really see Killmonger as a villain.
In the Black Panther movie, no, but
more as an extremist, certainly an extremist, right? But when your protagonist agrees with the argument of the antagonist, that kind of undoes the villainy.
Yeah,
he did some foul shit. But
and plus, he didn't really in the movie. He didn't really break any rules as far as like becoming Black Panther. It wasn't until he became Black Panther when he started messing up. Because like him challenging T'Challa to become the Black Panther, he didn't do anything wrong. He fought by the rules.
Well, I don't necessarily think he fought by the rules. They weren't necessarily on equal footing, in my opinion. But how
are they not on equal footing?
Well, because it's not really hand-to-hand combat. It's more like weapons, like who has the better weapon in a sense. Like the weapons aren't.
Didn't they pick their weapons though?
Yeah.
Huh?
Didn't they pick their weapons?
Yeah, they did. I'm asking how are they not on equal footing? Because in my mind, T'Challa's been Black Panther for a minute. Yeah, Killmonger went through the military and is a mercenary now, but I mean, I'd say that's just about as equal as it can get.
No, I mean,
he caught T'Challa slipping is really what happened.
Like in the I mean, like in that particular episode, like using a vibranium sound weapon or whatnot. I mean,
we were talking about in Black Panther.
About the movie.
He didn't do anything wrong about the movie. Like I'm talking like my stance of is he really? Because I've said that like he's not as much of a villain to me with his argument. An extremist, sure, but when
he wasn't, I don't think he was a villain in the movie. Until after he became Black Panther. In the episode,
but in the TV show.
In my honest opinion, I see where you guys are saying. The only reason I would say I would disagree and say yes, he's a villain. I view Killmonger in the same way as I view Magneto. They're not bad people, and their circumstances of how they grew up shaped a lot of their views in a sense. But what makes them essentially bad is just the fact they deal in absolution. Like it's just like get on my page or die.
Magneto's actually not a villain either.
He was
no. Like he does he commits some acts of terrorism, but grand scale, not largely a villain in the X-Men.
Yeah, he's not like he was for a while though.
He did a few. The whole Brotherhood of Mutants build up, like I said, acts of terrorism are perpetrated, but he never changes his goal. It's like, yo, if y'all aren't going to treat us right, and mind you, he's responding, he's reacting. He didn't start this war. Everything he does is a reaction to what's already happened. Mutants and what had been happening. We know his story, right? That whole Brotherhood of Mutants run, the villainy stops when they come to agreements. And what's the sanctuary? He's when he goes and establishes that because that never. Genosha, yeah. And what's the other one? There's another one. Frug, the starts with a K. Long story short, the U.S. government, all governments figure out that the war on mutants ain't gonna be much of a war if we keep fighting because we gonna lose. And that's all Magneto's ever been saying. Like, bro, stop fucking with us. Like, stop murdering us and saying it's not murder. Like all the things that we as a people deal with. Only he has the power to do something about it. So I'd encourage y'all to go back and read because they do some shit, but when you look at the actual stories, and there's a quick pivot away from that in the 90s, Magneto's not largely considered a villain. And there's an entire run for a large part of his character where he's just Joseph and actually a very prominent member of the X-Men. Do the old amnesia thing. But he's very firm. He don't fuck around. Like he can do the diplomacy only to an extent.
Yeah, I'm aware that eventually, Magneto comes to terms with the X-Men or whatnot. I was my stance is more so on the lines of when I'm talking about like Killmonger and Magneto, it's not so much their ideals that make them evil. It's just the way that they go about them to implement them that makes them the villain.
Because Killmonger didn't become a villain to me until after the fact that he'd already taken over as Black Panther. When he started destroying his own people's stuff, like destroying all the herbs, and then,
very fascist, dictatory.
Yeah.
So
I mean, again,
that's why I make the distinction between extremist and villain purposely with intent, because those are two very different things.
Okay, so I know some people may disagree with me, but some people may say that the villainy started when he has that in the movie. I'm talking about in the movie where he has that disagreement with Claw, and he takes the girl, the woman in the group hostage. He's like, "It's gonna be all right, baby," and shoots her. Like,
no, because Claw was gonna kill both of them.
Yeah, that was.
Even though I know it was.
She was a casualty from the jump. Truth be told, I don't think she ever knew that in the extent of their relationship, but there was no plan later revealed where she was going to actually go to Wakanda with him. I don't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't even, regardless of that, Claw was going to kill both of them. Claw was not going to let him go. He was about to pop both of them.
Yeah.
So.
But as a happenstance of circumstance, I don't think she was making it out of that one. I think Killmonger and this episode did a good job of illustrating how ahead of the step he really was. In that scenario, Killmonger's probably thinking ahead of that and planning to take both of them out as a just in case. Because his sole purpose, he was very focused on his purpose. I don't think there was ever a plan for us. It was always going to be him. And as true to his what they display in setting up his character, in this episode, we see a lot of that. Killmonger's very meticulous, very calculated, and very on point. He won't bend or break for nobody. And that there's a callback to that at the end of What If, with how it ends. But I mean, any other thoughts on the whole Killmonger episode with Tony?
I would say the aspects I really enjoyed about the Killmonger aspect, even though he's not the good guy in this episode, I like you said, I enjoy the meticulous planning, the details of like how like him as like a strategist and essentially like planning out like every step of the way, like how he was going about things. Like that was, to me that was cool to watch, just to see like the intellect on display, like outsmarting Tony Smart. Not Smart, Stark, outsmarting him, outsmarting T'Challa.
Master manipulator. He played everybody.
Yeah,
so, in a sense, kind of went about the Avengers never happened because of Killmonger.
Yeah, if you really look at it, the only people he didn't outsmart were like Shuri and like Pepper.
Pepper Potts was hip to it, but that's also a byproduct of Tony was kind of starstruck by the entire the rescue, right? Which later reveal Killmonger planned that too. Which it kind of makes me just wonder if the Killmonger we saw had multiple plans and just chose to go with that one.
Wait, he planned that one? I thought he uncovered it from.
He had intel. He had the intel on it, but the plan, like how long? Because it doesn't tell us when he got the intel to uncover it. But when I think about the sequence of events that unfold in the episode, it seems like it was a well orchestrated plan from jump. So I'm submitting that Killmonger had info or intel on the plans well enough in advance to plan out a whole thing. Like, oh, okay, if I save Tony Stark, then I can do this. I can do this. But like he kind of executed a whole plan as opposed to just, oh, I came upon this. Let me just go rescue dude, and then it consequently happened because everything was just.
I thought you meant he planned the kidnapping.
No, I just think he had the intel on
he
it
definitely
well
planned
enough in
the
time
whole thing based
to map
on
his whole,
saving Tony Stark.
you know, his whole Killmonger masterclass on taking over the world.
Yeah.
So
Two more things about that episode kind of stood out with me. The conversation with him and T'Challa in the afterlife or in the other plane. I felt like that was a dope conversation, just a dialogue between them. He's asking him, was it worth it, cousin? You know, they have a little back and forth. And then fast forward, um, fast forward to the last episode where the Watcher calls him. You see basically almost like this war between I guess like I guess United Nations and like even civil war in Wakanda where I mean they're fighting. I would love to see like how that all played out. Like that would have been cool to watch.
oh, I think that's the universe that Shuri is running. There's a comic run in Shuri, which I don't know if they intentionally sought to connect that, but it looks like Killmonger's on his last leg when the Watcher comes to summon him. He's about to make his last stand. They're charging the throne room hall, and it's just him, and they got a whole army. So I'm guessing it's going to be them or him, and that would have been interesting to see how that was going to unfold. Which I was going to come back to that when we get to our final episode, but next episode, what if Thor were an only child? This was the episode that 100% to me didn't need.
It was hilarious to me.
I mean, it was funny, but it's just I watching it, I was just like, okay, Thor is Thor regardless. No matter what you like, it's like all right, Thor is a big man child, National Lampoon style, turns Earth into a party hub. Still got love for Jane. Big Mama's boy. Carl, your thoughts?
I think this is kind of one of those episodes, a little bit, not 100%, like what Banks was talking about, how not necessarily fits into like the grand scheme of connecting the episodes to the final one, but but it's a decent watch to me. This is just me. It's a decent watch to me just because I found it very comical, kind of like the comedy in like Ragnarok, like some of the comedic gesture like in there, especially the dynamics between Thor and Loki. Like Loki's actually a frost giant in this one, and you they have conversations, uh, especially when he's like Loki, he's like my mom's coming. He's like she's not my mom. Like and
It seems that they're still brothers, but in this universe, Loki decided to go become king of Jotunheim instead of grow up on Asgard. So there's a connection there because obviously the Frost Giants and Asgardians aren't at war anymore. So they still have the bond, but just now I'm over here. Loki's doing his thing with his Frost Giants, and Thor is son of Asgard, right? Favorite son of Asgard. Um, yeah, that's the dynamic there was dope. I don't know if I appreciated the aloofness of Thor. Um, they really have dumbed down his character, and it kind of excused the fact that he's a couple of thousand years old. Like he's not the man child they over exaggerate him to be. Thor is very much one of the strongest Avengers and also one of the wisest Avengers because he's been around the universe a couple of times. And Asgardians never really die. Ragnarok comes, they perish there, but they reincarnate, they come back. So there's thousands and thousands of eons of wisdom and battle tactic, and it's a fun episode, and no doubt the characters taking on some of the characteristics or suggested characteristics of uh God, I just blanked on his name. Chris
right,
no, Chris Pratt is
Hemsworth,
not Thor.
Hemsworth.
Dude. Yeah, Hemsworth. Jeez, thank you. I couldn't forget I forgot his last blanked on his name. Has taken on the supposed characteristics of Hemsworth. But the whole bro vibe to Thor, I'm just like, yo, y'all give my man some props. He is an ancient and very much an ancient guy that can kick some ass and knows a thing or two about the universe. But it was a fun episode. I just,
Thanks. Where you at?
Huh? I mean,
We're in a
like
Thor
I was
episode.
saying, it wasn't like I said, it was just another a cool episode, but as far as like the whole story goes. This one that didn't have much continuity to the whole Watchers thing. Just a
It was
cool
just a way
story.
to keep Thor plugged in and set him up
Yeah.
for the final. That's all, because they needed a big gun. Because notice we don't have a lot of Hulk. We don't get any Hulk in this series. So if you're gonna fight Ultron, you got to have one or the other. And I guess for whatever reason they decided to throw Thor in, which I guess that makes sense because Hulk can't really fit with the cohesiveness of the team.
Captain Marvel and Thor fought in this episode.
So I got a question. I know like we were gonna go episode by episode, but like, what do y'all think is gonna happen? Like after seeing like the whole thing and then seeing like the Guardians of the Multiverse, like what do y'all think is going
Oh,
to
I
happen?
definitely think there's a Guardians of the Multiverse show coming. Probably a comic there.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm hinging on that Doc Strange thing. There's something because there's too much Doc Strange in multiple things going around the clock for me. But I don't think the reveal is going to come until we get further into the death of Doctor Strange.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Now that you mention it, I can definitely see the Watcher using them again for another situation. But like you guys pointed out earlier, this show will be used to introduce like new characters or characters who they get the rights from like as time goes on. And then like they have an infinite they have an infinite wave of scenarios they can use. I mean the list is limitless of what they could do with the show.
I feel like there's not only with that Doc Strange angle. I don't know. It's too early for me to call it, but it's so what I didn't realize they were doing with the first run. I knew that they had borrowed from some current stories. But it seems like we might see them doing some things congruent to what's actually running in comics now, or elements of a lot of that, like what's happening currently. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what's making it kind of hard for me to kind of gauge the direction, because I think with the multiverse factor involved, we get a blend of a lot of the classics stories. But with this modern setting, and they'll make adjustments as they need to make it fit in the MCU and what's been established. But I mean, between cliffhanger, this leaves us, we get what if Ultron won. The way this ends, Doc Strange in his pocket dimension with Zola and Killmonger in another pocket dimension, still fighting over those damn stones. They could escape.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
speaking of that, I think we all totally saw that ending coming with Killmonger tries to take the stones, especially after he's tampering with the Ultron mask in the beginning of the episode. But I know you wanted to talk about it, but I can definitely see them doing like some part twos of like some of the episodes that we got introduced to this season and just making it a longer season.
I mean, that's if we even get a second season or whatever. It could have been we'll see.
I think it's gonna be a second season.
Yeah, I can't see why they wouldn't, but in the spirit of Disney, I could also see why they wouldn't. Like, I can't see why they wouldn't, but I can see why they wouldn't. So,
who you watching?
I mean, when you getting Disney bags, bro, Disney money, they make so much money hand over fist, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could, or they could give each one an individual. Like, at this point, if somebody wanted to do a Killmonger, 8-10 episode, I'd watch that. You know what I mean? I'd watch I'd give Peggy Carter a shot. I'd watch some Peggy Carter. I'd watch an Adventures of Doc Strange show. I'd love to see more of the Sorcerer Supreme. I'd love to see the introduction of Dr. Voodoo.
I would love, man, that would be so cool.
I forgot what I was looking at reading. Oh, Death of Doctor Strange. They do mention Dr. Voodoo. He does show up, but I don't think that we're far off from it. Just I feel like if we're looking to establish the next super team, because we're teasing in the MCU. I'm referring to the teasing some West Coast Avengers, but the next super team would it be the Illuminati?
I got a question, bro. Why would you watch a Peggy Carter show? Doesn't she just relive the storyline of Captain America? Like, as
Well,
far as,
Agent
like,
Carter, I don't know. It's a show that I've been meaning to catch up on to catch all the fillers I missed between Shield and this next phase. But
I'm
if
just
they
saying.
continue that show, I'd watch whatever she's doing. I'd
I'm
watch
saying,
that.
like, I was talking about, like, and what if they did Peggy Carter? Like, if they, as far as like the what if version, if they did, isn't her timeline just a retelling of Captain America's timeline from her point of view? So she would do
No,
pretty
it's
much.
different. It's things are different
I
because
mean,
she doesn't
stuff
have the
like,
same relationships.
I know,
Like she
like,
doesn't
yeah,
have a
but
Bucky. She like her Bucky is Natasha. Bucky's there, but it's not the same. They're not doing the now. Some
yeah,
of the main adventures, yeah, but I mean, what you mean? Why
but
I
would
watch it because I think they did a good job with the episode.
Well, I'm
I
saying, like,
supported the
wouldn't
same way
her
I
time?
support everything
Well, I'm
else.
saying, but, like, wouldn't her timeline be the same? Like, she would become the first Avenger. She would join the Avengers. She would pretty much just take place of Captain America in that stream of events.
I don't think the Avengers happen in her universe the same way because we don't see them at the point where she gets called back up. And again, that's stuff to expound on.
Well, because,
But
like, well,
to answer
it
your
does, like,
question,
when
I would
she
still
doesn't,
watch it. To answer your
the
question,
reason
I
she
would still
doesn't
watch it.
have, like, instead of her getting frozen, she just goes through a black hole, and she just shows up when, instead of her being woken up, she just shows up in front of Nick Fury and Hawkeye. So it's like she becomes the Avenger right there. Like, that's her awakening. Like, instead of her being chronogenically frozen and then woken up to become an Avenger, she just falls through a black hole into the time period to where Nick Fury and Hawkeye are standing there, and that's when she becomes the Avenger. So it's like she just goes through the same sequence of events, but just through a different pathway to those same events.
I think not necessarily. I mean, obviously, they wouldn't deviate too far from the main story, but Peggy Carter as a character would deal with an entirely different set of issues than what Steve Rogers dealt with. And I would watch that and support it the same way I watched everything Marvel. Like the same way I'm looking forward to reading Shuri's adventures. I caught a couple version variants going for the Lowski on the
But Shuri
wall of
doesn't
Rich.
have the same sequence of events as T'Challa. That's why I would
No,
watch.
Shuri is a current Black Panther. But even if they did a what if separate where it was Shuri always, I watched that the same. You asked me why I would watch Peggy Carter. I'm just answering your question. I would watch, support it, and see what they do with it. I watch any of the spinoffs that came from this. I watch a Hank Pym spinoff, honestly.
How you guys
I'm not
feel about
opposed
the
to
last episode?
murdery Pym.
You said what,
You
Carl?
said-
How do you guys feel about the last episode, the finale or whatever?
Didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah, we just talked about that. Anywho,
How did you feel, Carl?
In all honesty, I thought it was a perfect ending to a great season. I mean, I know I mentioned like that the part about Killmonger, but I actually didn't see the Watcher taking all of these different like characters from these different universes to beat Ultron. I didn't think he would go as far as to do that, and I thought that was pretty cool. Especially seeing how powerful that version of Doctor Strange was. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan of that episode, but seeing him in work, like that was pretty cool. Like those protection spells that he put around them or whatnot. I mean, and like just seeing like how you had all these leaders and planners, like when you had Captain Carter, T'Challa, and Killmonger like all working together, coming up with a plan was pretty cool. And then you got introduced to Gamora, who we didn't really see in any of the other episodes or whatnot, and seeing basically, I guess you could even say seeing her basically become, I guess, as powerful as Thanos. I mean, you could say like you see like she's got like the same type of weaponry or whatnot, and
I did not see her become as powerful as Thanos. What happened? When did she do that?
talking about Gamora? When
Yeah,
got
when
the
did she
gauntlet?
become powerful as Thanos?
She got the gauntlet.
I didn't see what I saw her with the thing that could destroy a stone. I didn't see her with the gauntlet using that. Did I miss that?
She destroyed the gauntlet.
No, they put a stone in the machine, it crawled up on top of Ultron, extracted all the stones, and destroyed, self-destructed on those, but didn't actually destroy them because those stones were unique. I'm asking, when did she become as powerful as Thanos in this episode? Because I missed that. Did she do something? I didn't see her do anything.
When the
other than
Watchers
play her part.
Well, I was saying, like, when the Watcher recruited her, she's destroying the Gauntlet at Nebula at the beginning, and like you see her with like the same.
That's what they were. Was she destroying the Gauntlet? I thought her and Quill were when the Watcher came. May I have to go back and rewatch? What I thought her and Quill were in the middle. I didn't get it. She was destroying the Gauntlet. Was that what was happening? Did I just miss that?
She was melting. They were melting it down, like the hand.
Gamora's because in the comic,
oh, her and Stark are on. Okay.
Yeah, and then she gets the gold armor.
So what happened that led up? I mean, I'm still not getting how she was more powerful, as powerful as Thanos. Like,
well, that was a team.
Go ahead, Banks. Go ahead.
If you have the gauntlet, that's what makes Thanos powerful. Like, granted, Thanos is strong without the gauntlet, but the gauntlet is what makes him powerful.
Yeah, with stones, but she doesn't have stone. They're melting the gauntlet. Like, do we know if they had the fight or if they got the gauntlet ahead of time and just were melting it to try to stop Thanos from? I guess I'm just not connecting where she was as powerful, any of that, because I didn't see her do anything.
I guess that's what I'm basically saying is I'm assuming that she's more powerful because she won, like, in her universe. I mean, she's sitting there destroying everything, the weapons. It's very much possible she won without being stronger than Thanos.
Yeah, yes, that's this. Go ahead.
I was just more so assuming that just because, like, her version in her universe won that battle.
And do we know if the battle's even won? Because they're talking. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that, but I don't know if that battle's actually done. But obviously she's alive. I mean, I don't know. That's just not enough for me to draw off on and assume that threat's over, because Stark still seems ready for war, if I recall. And they've got some strange markings. I want to see what happened in that universe, because that's one thing this show did for me the most. It made me really curious to see exactly how everything's playing out across the worlds we're watching, but outside of the events we're seeing take place. Because we do get during the Watcher Ultron fight, at some point they end up on Nova Prime from the Guardians universe. And the Nova Corps is there, but we still have yet to see Nova be introduced. But we know the Nova Corps exists. And they're supposed to be one of the top intergalactic, I'd actually like to see more of the decimation that Ultron went on. I think there's more there with the Captain Marvel bit, but whatever. All in all, we'll see it in the next season for sure. But I think that's What If in a nutshell. Anything y'all want to add to that?
Yeah, I love seeing the celestial head grow all the flowers out of it. That was probably one of my favorite parts. Even though they weren't my favorite episodes, probably one of my favorite parts of the whole show.
Seeing what?
When dang it, what's her name? Look at my brain, tripping. Gamora's sister, Nebula. When Nebula threw the dust particles into the dude's mouth, and they made.
You talk. I know what you mean.
And then the whole, because the planet that the Collector, that he's on, it's a celestial's head. So, like, when the particles went in his mouth, like, the flowers grew out of it, so it just looked like a big floating skull with flowers all over it. That was probably one of my favorite parts.
Well, anything else y'all wanted to discuss or on your mind?
Venom 2 sucked.
That show Squid Game, I mean, we can maybe talk about that if y'all want to. I wasn't wholly impressed.
We push for next week.
Yeah, I mean, just whenever. I wasn't wholly impressed by it, but it seems to be all the new rave.
I mean, I've seen plenty of shows like it. So
I had that same conversation with the homie, and it's just like, bro, somebody on Facebook, April, brought up Battle Royal, and I remember when that movie came out, it was like banned in the USA, and There've been several animes, several movies. Like survival horror is a topic that doesn't get old. Um, no matter how you package it, you put a group of people in a situation where they got to compete or fight um, for ultimate prizes. Just like, well, Vaughn, check out Slasher season 3.
Wait, Slasher has a season 3? When did it come out? When did it come out?
Bruh, it's recently, but it's the whole thing's up. I'm watching it on Prime, dog. It is,
Bro, Slasher has a season 3?
bruh, flesh and blood, dog. It is
Bro, I'm
stupid.
about to go watch it
It
today.
is.
I mean, I didn't really care for season 2. I mean, it was cool, but like I kind of predicted the ending, kind of like it. Like
You did.
episode-
You called season 2. You told me it was going like why
Yeah.
and exactly to your note. I didn't hate it, but it was like, come on,
It was
man.
like
That was a
I knew
little.
that was gonna happen. Like
It was like,
that's like
but
I watched
so again,
8
Slasher's
episodes of
another
this.
show out there for guys for y'all who don't know. It's exactly this. Each season has been centered around some sort of group of people that the first one was a straight, bloody.
That shit was fire.
Yeah, but fire. The second one, it wasn't really a competition, but this third one, very much, it's a game. But if you lose the games, you get eliminated, and Buddy is eliminating the fuck out of people. Like with a vengeance. It's notoriously graphic, and it is a very bloody show. So don't go into this thinking it's going to be hold your hand scary movie. They go over the top with the practical effects and the gore and kills. So, but yeah, it'll put Squid Game to shame. Alice in Borderland, High Rise Invasion, Darwin's Game, Battle Royale 2. There's a few. What other ones like similar?
As I think it's like as the
The
God.
Future Diary.
What's the name? Yeah, Future Diary. I mean, is Future Diary like that? Is Future Diary survival horror?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
it's a survival type of.
But yeah,
Are they playing games to?
Yeah, are they playing?
I haven't
games
watched
or they
Future
just
Diary. Are they
marketing
playing game? I
games?
thought it was about him. Like somebody had the ability to go back in time or erase
Yeah.
something. Or something. No.
That's an aspect of it, but it's a kill or be killed game in a sense.
So yeah, you can watch Batum. Batum is an anime that came out like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. Just like that survival horror.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Junie
Isn't
Taisen.
I think it's called As the Gods Tell It or something like that. But it's pretty much it's an Asian survival horror movie, and it's just this big floating head telling people what games to play. If they don't do it, the floating head kills them. So it's like
What's it called?
as the gods say it or something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
I know Danganronpa is another one. The one I talked about with the murdery teddy bear as the principal of the school, but they put high school kids in these situations where they got to figure out who did what, like trial. And the kids end up dead one by one. There's only one person, but yeah, we could talk about Squid Game with next week's topics. And
It's called As the Gods Will. Yeah.
so, it's entertaining if anything, but the characters themselves kind of pissed me off. And this might be one of the survivor horrors where I'm certain I'm going to be on the opposite end on where y'all stand with what happens to these characters and characteristics and tropes. And as a show, have either of you watched it?
I watched all of it.
I've not finished it.
All right, we'll say as a show, it pissed me off. But of course, I'm watching from the outside, looking in. So it's just certain shit. I'm just like, nah. But we can table that.
Cool.
Well, with that said, thank you guys for spending the privilege of your time. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to rock out with us and listen to our geeky ass thoughts and opinions on the things we love to talk about. So for that, grazie. And to bid you adieu, it's your man's Free Will. Murphy's Law 615 signing out.
Banks himself, aka the guy who hated Venom 2, aka Venom 2 sucks, aka the only Sith on this show, because somebody
Let there be carnage, nigga.
somebody believes in the power of friendship. So
And bruh, my best friend is my lightsaber.
Hold on. This isn't going away. I'm predicting this isn't going away.
Yeah, Banks found a soft spot. How you gonna hate on Venom, man? Like Carnage was murking fools, bro.
Bro, Carnage murked people like in 2 scenes. The rest of the movie was Venom and Eddie Brock arguing.
You called Venom worse than Mortal Kombat. I can't take you serious.
I said it's neck and neck with Mortal Kombat. I said it's neck and neck with Green Lantern.
with Cole, the world's most easily forgettable character.
Yeah, Cole was trash, bro. Whoever did that, whoever decided to make a brand new Mortal Kombat character in the middle of a movie that people were waiting for, shame on you. That was stupid. And then to make him have whack powers, like, oh,
I got it.
Let's
make Cole the fighter. Let's make Cole the guy.
I get
but we've got
so
Liu
much,
Kang.
I'm making a superpower.
but we've got Liu Kang. Nah, fuck that guy.
Liu Kang was in the movie.
Let's go with Cole, but we have Liu Kang.
Hey, we got Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
Hold on. We advertised Scorpion as the main character. Are you sure? Nah, it's got to be Cole.
The whole intro of the movie, Scorpion. Hey, what's Scorpion at? He dead.
Okay, let's make Cole the descendant of Scorpion.
But hey, we got Liu Kang over here. Hey, we got Liu Kang right here. Liu Kang, teach him how to fight.
So many other main
characters. We're gonna kill them too.
And you know what made it even worse? This dude was like a part-time bartender that's getting whooped in a rinky-dink like UFC, like what random fight?
Bro, he got beat up so much that made it a superpower.
He was fighting at the fairgrounds, dog. Bartending at. He was a regular Nashville nigga, honestly. He's the type of dude we see around Nashville. Works on Broadway at night. Fighting, which no diss to any about people that's out there pursuing the fighting career. But strictly speaking,
Cole
in Mortal Kombat, Cole was not as good as half y'all. This guy sucked. Yet somehow he was able to defeat Goro. I don't know.
He wouldn't even made it on like Ultimate Fighter.
Nah, bro, he wouldn't have made it on American Ninja Warrior.
Bro, his superpower was getting beat up.
And he didn't even, when he leveled up, it didn't raise his defense. He still took some hits. Like he had a little golden breastplate of armor that sprouted out of nowhere, only to still get thumped on just a little bit. So yeah.
And Sub-Zero still whooped his ass at the end.
I don't think Eddie Brock was on that level of Cole. So that's why I can't accept your...
The movie still sucked, bro.
So suck is suck then. If it sucks, it sucks. There's not levels to suck. If it sucks, it just straight sucks.
It sucks.
Nah, careful, because you might have to walk that back later. So careful.
It sucks. It still sucks, but it's levels to suck. But I ain't trying to watch nothing that sucks. So, you can suck more than something else suck, but I ain't trying to watch neither one of them.
Yeah, I'll say Mortal Kombat is like the lowest of the low, but like Venom is probably neck and neck with like X-Men Origins. Wolverine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. X-Men it's right up there with like
X-Men Origins ain't even the worst of the X-Men movies.
It's not a good one though.
I mean, it's not, but you say it's up there. It has
one of my favorite scenes in it. It's not a good one.
You say it's neck and neck with Origins. There are worse X-Men movies in that franchise.
Like the first, like X-Men.
Like the first three?
Yeah.
You don't act like those don't exist. The ones that were so bad, they literally retconned their existence in the entire cinematic universe with Days of Future Past. They made a movie to erase the previous three movies, not only physically in real life, but in the storyline. That's how bad those were.
Wait,
yeah, I mean,
I thought Days of Future Past was the continuation of the first
Days of Future Past erases everything that happened prior to.
Yeah, it erases everything because everything leads to apocalypse.
It erases the events that we saw unfold. Remember, Jean Grey is alive at the end of Days of Future Past years later. It erased everything that we saw happen.
Yeah, but
it never happened. Basically.
I know, but they did that because everything that led up in those first three movies led to the end of.
They did that as a way to get rid of those first three movies. Yeah, stop glossing over. Yes, two truths exist. But they did that to get rid of those first three movies, bro. That's why they
had a reason for doing that, bro.
They did that to get rid of, because Apocalypse wasn't even teased. Here's the funny thing about that statement. Apocalypse wasn't even official at the end of the second movie. That wasn't even a concept or thought of. They threw that teaser in there to convince.
No, I'm talking about the actual Apocalypse, like, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. The teaser where we got with the 4 horsemen at the end, that wasn't even a part of the development plans. They forced that in there to convince the studio to let them make that movie. It wasn't even written. That original story had nothing to do with Apocalypse. That was a one-off, long shot, Hail Mary by the studio last minute that they
It
threw
worked.
in to convince the studio to let them make X-Men Apocalypse because they did not have approval for it. Fun
I'm
fact.
talking about, I'm talking about in Days of Future Past, it was the actual, all the mutants will be exterminated. All the events that led up to in those movies led to all the mutants being exterminated in the beginning of Days of Future Past.
And what I'm telling you is that at the time that Days of Future Past came out, it was only fans were the only ones that were, we got to get Apocalypse. At the time, the studio had no intention of making X-Men Apocalypse. That's what I'm telling you as a fact from the production.
About X-Men Apocalypse, though.
What are you talking? We're talking about.
You
said Apocalypse.
No, the actual apocalypse of the mutants, like the mutants being hunted down and murdered.
Oh, Sentinel, yeah. But however, I'm not glossing over that. Yes, the storyline. But what I'm saying is that movie, they use that. This is not a secret. They use that to erase everything that happened in the first 3 trilogies. All of that story, none of that exists anymore. Days of Future Past was a hard reboot on not only the X-Men franchise cinematically, but all of that together. Like when you watch what's happening now, currently, since Days of Future Past, nothing from X-Men 1, 2, or 3 has technically happened in the X-Men universe that we see cinematically.
Spider-Man, they about to erase both Venom movies.
Somebody need to erase your fucking face, bro. I can't believe
they about to erase these fucking Venom movies, bro.
I want to take an eraser and just go across.
Hey, bro, don't be mad at me, dude.
Yo, because you throwing shade on one of my favorite characters,
bro. If a Spawn movie ain't good, I'm gonna tell you a Spawn movie.
It wasn't. We all know the first one wasn't. It sucked.
So why the hell you caping so hard for Venom? It wasn't a good movie, bro.
This was better than you giving it credit for. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just fascinated with the Maximum Carnage thing. I don't know. You act like it was just duty water, bro.
Hey, bro, I ain't the only one that think it's duty water.
Carl been wrong since episode 1 about everything.
I ain't talking about just Carl, bro. Google Venom 2 right now.
Who else think it's wrong?
Google Venom 2 right now.
I ain't got to, nigga. I ain't Googling shit. I'm telling you it wasn't.
Google Venom 2 right now. Tell me
we care about
show y'all.
Thanks. Hit him with the machine gun.
Nah, don't hit me with nothing, nigga. Yo, hit him with a lightsaber sound effect.
I'm gonna put one on here. Hit your ass.
I need one. Slice yourself.
Slice yourself. Some Venom.
Slice yourself. Slice, and it had a decent, a better box office than what you call it. They were saying, look, 6.6 out of 10. That's all right. 83% like this movie.
Bro, 6.6 out of 10 is not good, fool.
That's average. That's all right. That's what I said. It's all right.
Y'all see that?
Nah. Can't see what it is. Is that a magic 8 ball or something with you? Let's see. 83% like this movie. I don't know. 59%. I see that same thing, but Rotten Tomatoes has never dictated what my taste in any movie. So
all right,
there's that.
Then we're gonna go to the other one then.
Banks, I didn't dislike it. It could have. There's a few things I would have done different. However, with all that said, yeah, I just said that 6.6. That's average. What do we call it? Hold on. On the scale of 1 to 10 and hot, what do we call it? A 6 is what? It is 6 like just cute? Average? Yeah, that's what I thought, Nick. Yeah. 6 is average, bro. It was an eye film. Carl, no.
I mean, a 6 is average, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest fan of the movie.
I mean, that's fine with it. I just really, I really had a thing for the fight scene and the visuals of Carnage. That's
I get it. That's the bright spot of the movie, but it's in there with the it's in there with the X-Men.
Hey, y'all see this shit? Guess what this is for though? Hold on. See this? Hold on.
The same stats that I'm looking at?
Yeah. What is that? You know what movie that's for? Fucking Mortal Kombat.
Wait, what?
These are stats. They got the same stats as Mortal Kombat.
Oh, let me see it. Hold it back up. No, back your screen out. Pull your screen out, fool. Like, zoom out. 6.1. That's not the same. 6.6. 55 to 59. Nigga, your numbers off. Your numbers off, bro. Shut that down. 55 is not 59, my guy.
Oh
No,
my
thanks.
god, dude.
That's splitting hairs.
Ain't him the one saying a 6 is average, right?
I mean, it is. That's a six is
Bruh,
average. I said it was an average movie. I didn't say it was the best movie. I didn't say
Nah,
that.
bro, that movie was butt cheeks, bro.
I thought it was kind of raw. The fight scenes was alright, man. That and the end credits, the visuals, I could rock with. Are we excited about Morbius at all?
I've forgotten about it.
So we're not excited about it.
I'm
Forgot
be
it was
real,
coming
bro.
out.
I'm finna be real. Not really. I think Morbius. See, when I'm not excited about movies, then I'm not as critical. But if it sucked, I'm gonna say it sucked. But like Black Widow, I wasn't excited to see Black Widow. I went in there and I was like,
I would be
thoroughly
a
impressed.
little bit more. Oh, sorry.
You didn't like Black Widow either?
No, I did. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't excited for it. But when I went to go see it, I was like, oh, damn, this was good. I mean, it had some spots. I was like, I could deal without that. But
You know what? Maybe it's the fact that I went into this movie with low expectations. And they over-delivered on as low as mine, because I can tell you right off the bat, I was not a fan of the fact that Boston Donnie was playing Patrick Mulligan, a San Francisco cop with that thick Boston accent. It's like, yo, he's so out of place in this movie with all of this West Coast shit. And here comes
I had
the new kid on the block.
The movie still sucked.
Sounding like that. But you know me, Vaughn. I'm big on like aesthetic and everything flowing. Boston Donnie coming out of nowhere with the talk of, oh, hold up. That's not even, I thought that was Donnie Wahlberg. This is Stephen Graham?
Yeah, there's somebody else.
Yo, this guy reminded, I thought this was Donnie Wahlberg. It's not.
No.
And he's from England. What? Well, I'm not sure where the Boston accent came from, but I thought it was Donnie Wahlberg too. You know who I'm thinking of from last movie we saw him in, Jigsaw, one of the songs, like, mind fuck. All right, forget my whole point. I was wrong. But yeah, he had a thick Boston accent.
He did have
for
a
some
thick
reason.
Boston accent.
And I was just like, this is not flowing with the movie.
Maybe that's where his voice actor came from.
Yeah, the town in San Francisco just wasn't matching for me. And okay, he also played Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire, I guess. Huh. Well, that whole point out the window. That's not Donnie Wahlberg, so.
But yeah, Venom 2 wasn't good though.
Well, I had low expectations, and they exceeded my
too.
already low expectations. So I mean,
I had super low expectations, and I was still let down.
Because I'll be honest, Venom 1, not a huge fan.
No,
it was okay. It wasn't trash, but it was just kind of like, I liked what they set up, but it left me wanting more Venom. This movie I could have done with less of Venom as a side chick. So
A lot of wasted potential.
Yeah. Next time, try not to make a rom-com out of Venom.
I would say it was a rom-com. You're just being,
bro, they literally broke up. They literally broke up and got back together.
You're just being a douche.
They literally broke up, had a fight. He was talking about get your stuff and get out. Like
Venom went and cheated on Eddie Brock.
Throwing all his stuff. Hold on, throwing all his stuff out the window.
Out the window, like come on, bro.
Stepped out on Eddie Brock.
Chick, bro. What?
Oh, Venom a thought. That's what y'all saying. Venom.
They literally broke up in the movie and then got back together like in every rom-com.
Venom a semi thought. Oh man, it's crazy.
Like she was cheap, bro.
Right.
That's
he
crazy.
in his car messing up his motorcycle and stuff.
He did mess up his motorcycle, bro. What the fuck? Come on, Will. He literally jumped in another body and broke his motorcycle and then ran off.
Yo, Venom 2 is wrong as fuck.
This movie's not. This not. I can't get 50 with that, dog.
Yo, I got jiggy with Venom 2, bro. Carnage was wrecking havoc, bro. That was dope. Yo, he told that man, yo, shut her up or I'll eat her face. I was like, oh, Carnage is wrecking hell, talking greasy to that man and his wife. Okay, bro. Carnage don't give a fuck. He was about that. I was with it. Yeah, I don't know what's up with y'all, man. Y'all just, maybe I should go watch it again.
You should watch it again, but look at the movie from a movie standpoint, not I want to see Carnage break stuff. For the two scenes that he broke stuff.
That's all he did was broke up a church and broke up a jail. That's it.
It was two, and it was only two scenes. It was only two times that he did it.
You know what? There's a circus cut out there that's just like the Snyder cut. That's probably got all the dope scenes that you're missing.
A 4-hour long movie of Carnage just
there's a whole 4-hour cut of Venom 2, bro. It's just that really is filled with all the best parts.
This is what we wanted to put in the movie, but you know, we stuck with the rom-com instead.
I mean, and also I want to show Eddie Serkis some props, man. He's done a lot for the nerd culture. He's played quite a few iconic roles through the motion sensor animation. I believe he was Gollum and he was King Kong in one movie. If I'm not mistaken.
You know, the dude that made the movie?
Yeah, Andy Serkis. Claw. Played Claw in Black Panther.
Hey man, I'm gonna have to have a talk with Andy.
Nah, bro. We just need to take that energy and put that in the 28 Gates and make a way better movie than Venom. I was thinking maybe we could add like a little symbiote in the 28 Gates.
Yeah, and then make them like stick onto them so they can argue like a couple, you know, about stuff.
Yeah,
that
you should add some motorcycles in there too, dog. In case one of the symbiotes decide he want to break up and he needs something to, you know, smash up. Might as well smash up homie motorcycle, right?
I'm not happy here. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
Yo, man. I mean, but I'm on record that we could have the Carnage love interest, the Eddie Brock Venom odd couple thing, that and maybe that thick ass Boston accent for San Francisco.
Yeah, and then like even man, it just sucks. Even with the love interest between Carnage,
I think that makes it just a little better. Just a little better. If you change some of that stuff up, that's
the whole movie.
Nah. You could,
bro. It is, bro. The love interest between Shriek and Carnage.
No, I'm saying you could remove that and just could have done a Carnage focus.
Well, I'm saying if you remove that, you remove like 80% of the movie.
Well, that's what I'm ripping and replacing, and I think that was only to complement the contrast between Eddie and Anne. Which why did they bring her back? They could have left her out of this too. That was another.
They could have left Anne. They could have left.
We didn't need Anne back in this movie. I thought Venom 1 pretty much addressed their relationship.
They could have left the fiance out the movie. They could have left Anne out the movie. They could have left Shrieker out the movie.
Her fiance setting Carnage on fire. That was pretty cheesy too.
His entire presence there,
and out of nowhere too. Like, bro, how did you even get in the church?
How did he find the church?
Like,
how did he know that they were at the church?
Where did you get this kerosene from?
Where did he get care? No, you know what? The pastor, the father, was probably in the church burning up some evidence of his wrongdoings.
We just added to the plot.
Because there was a Catholic church.
Bro, that movie was terrible, bro. Movie was terrible. I'm sorry. Venom, I love you to death. You'll always be one of my favorite.
Y'all just gonna let that whole kerosene cap? All right, bro. I thought that was a setup. That was an easy line. Any one of y'all could slam dunk that one. Yeah.
Venom, you will always be one of my favorite anti-heroes, but that movie was terrible.